Yeah, this is gonna be an in-depth talk. What's going on, man? As you come in on this live, y'all can hit the like button. But it's gonna be an in-depth talk. I'm just gonna break this down a little bit. I was gonna have more layers to this, but uh, I'm not gonna discuss too much. I'm actually glad I didn't talk about it yesterday. Sometimes I like to react, but I'm glad I sat back and actually just thought about some things first. I will say that. I'm glad I just sat back and thought about some things first. And because I don't want to just come out here and say things. It might be that might be the impression to some people, but yeah, I want to make sure what I'm talking about is on point. I don't want to just come out and say anything. But I'm gonna get into this Ortiz and uh, Boost thing in a minute. I'm gonna get straight into that, and I want to try to connect that to something else that I'll talk about probably later on. But but what I want to get into about this whole Boots and Vergil Ortiz conversation that's going on uh, is like it's more to it than what it looks like, especially from what I've seen. Because from what I've seen, I promise you, from what I've seen, and when I explain this is not gonna look good. But for what I've seen, people don't really, how do I say this, know the business when it comes to certain people. Like when it comes to certain people, they know the business. Oh yeah, I know the business moves going on. Like right now, ain't nobody talking about what's going on with Tank right now. But for some odd reason, everybody and their mama is not asking questions, but they know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't really make a lot of sense. So right now, when it comes to Tank Davis, even a Lamont Roach, I seen people bringing up Lamont Roach. When it comes to Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, everybody know what's going on. It seems like because it ain't a lot of questions being asked right now. We can say facts on that, right? That's not my opinion. Ain't nobody really asking about Tank right now about what he got going on. I'm hearing people discussing Roach. Oh, Roach should fight this guy. Bro, what about Tank, bro? I thought Tank was the bigger name. What we discussing Roach for? I'm like, what we talking about Roach for? I thought Tank was the bigger name. So right now, do everybody know what's going on with Tank? So if you know what's going on with Tank, you should know what's going on with every other boxer, right? Because nobody really asked a question about Tank Davis right now. Nobody. It ain't nobody. In their mind right now, they already know what's going on with Tank. It ain't no questions being asked about Tank right now, which is fine. but it's not really no questions being asked about him right now. I know what the move is. That's why I'm like, let me just chill. In the past, I would have been like trying to explain, but now I'm like, nah, just let it happen. So right now, currently, most boxing fans will tell you they know they have an idea of what Tank got going on. Okay. With Boots, I don't know. Right now, a lot of people saying they don't know what's going on. Things like that. When it comes to Canelo, people made it seem like they knew what he had going on. So I'm just confused about why we don't know about what all these boxers got going on. Why they not analyze the same across the board? Because people understand business until a certain name come up, then it's like, oh, I don't understand the business no more. You don't understand. What we talking about it for then? If we just know the business of one boxer, that ain't gonna work. It ain't no use of even talking about it. That's what the conversation is, bro. That's bias. If you just know about one fighter business, or I just know about him, well, shoot, how you don't know about the other guy business then? Well, I just heard from him because the other fighter said, man, the other fighter don't know nothing about no business, especially of another man. In any case, in any fight, and I ain't talking about the Boots fight. I'm talking about any fight. With the Roach and the Tank situation, Roach can't tell you right now what Tank got going on. Nobody knows what he has going on. He like, hey, I don't know what it is. So unless these guys are speaking up for themselves, getting held to the standard of, hey, you need to say something. You ain't finna get no answer from nobody else. It don't matter what nobody say right now. Guys who's used to yapping or saying stuff and they quiet now, that ain't a good look, period. I don't care what fighter it is. Because you see guys at a high level that still speak up. Oh, no, I'll fight him. Or no, I'm trying to do this. I'm about to do this next. Got to look at things. Look at Norman right now. He still got a fight signed up with Haney. Immediately signed the fight. And said last year, I think around the time where the Boots situation was going on, yeah, I'll fight Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia. It don't matter who. A year later, about to fight the man around the same time that he had said he just was gonna fight him last year, which is insane. But yeah, man, a lot of people letting their careers pass them by. I'm telling you that right now. And the standards are different over the next few weeks. Cause I'm gonna be honest with y'all, a lot of guys been getting passes. Everybody talking about Terrence Crawford, who's starting to look like the most disrespected boxer in history. I've never seen a fighter who's pound for pound number one get disrespected the way he has. Ever. If you can find somebody who was in that position who got disrespected more, I want to see. Yeah, I want to see. You know, it's sad when a prospect get more credit than number one pound for pound. That's crazy. I mean, where boxing going? Prospects? Oh, him, but the guy who been knocking everybody out, he ain't him. Whoa. But I'm gonna say this though. For anybody who's a fan of boxing, I've been hearing a lot of narratives lately. A lot of them. I got some facts though. I got a huge fact I'm finna run with for the next couple of days. I already had it, but I don't really be trying to do all that. You know what I'm saying? But People been saying a lot of stuff about Tom and Jerry fights and everything else. I promise you, I'm about to destroy that this week. But starting today, right now, I'm going to go over the double standard that people have with and he's a great fighter. I would consider him a great fighter. He's been doing it for a very long time. I would consider him a great fighter. But with Vergil Ortiz, I'm gonna say this, and I consider him one of the best at 54. Uh, but he hasn't had a knockout at 54 yet, and he's not getting criticized. He hasn't had a knockout at 54 yet. I just want everybody to know that he hasn't had not one knockout at 154. I haven't heard anybody running around telling me, "Hey, Vergil ain't knocked nobody out at 54 yet." I ain't heard nobody telling me that yet. What's going on? Why ain't nobody said that yet? Why ain't nobody said that yet? That he hasn't knocked anybody out at 54 yet, and that's a fact. And that Terrence Crawford in the same position hasn't knocked anybody out at 54, but he's criticized. And then Vergil has a similar performance that Crawford had against Majramov, but nobody said he lost. And also, nobody said that it was a Tom and Jerry fight. And got dropped twice against Boychuk. Nobody asking right now for this man to rematch Boychuk right now. Not one person. And he's a star in boxing. Absolutely. I think he's one of the biggest stars. I got high praise for him personally. I think Vergil has a chance to be uh, a bigger than the Oscar De La Hoya, to be honest with you. I never said that about any fighter. So that's high praise for me. But that's beside the point though. I'm talking about as far as the narratives that people are using. What I think about him doesn't matter to what people are saying out there, what they pushing. They saying right now that Crawford, the Majramov fight, one fight out of 41 fights, which is cowardly for anybody to do something like that. You're a coward if you point out, all you can do is point out one fight out of 41 fights. You're a coward. But one fight out of 41 fights, that's the only fight you can criticize him about? Yeah, man, double standards. And I'm absolutely going to talk about this. Absolutely. Double standards. Does anybody have any reasons why Vergil Ortiz has 0 knockouts at 54 and nobody's criticizing it? Nobody. A boxing expert anywhere on this earth. Why on this earth, planet Earth right now, no boxing experts is criticizing Vergil Ortiz for not having no knockouts at 54. Terrence Crawford, 41, well, he got 41 fights, something like that. He gets criticized. But Vergil, nah. Vergil too good to get criticized. Terrence Crawford, oh man, he ain't did nothing in boxing. Oh, Vergil, yeah. Boy, y'all better stop it. That man better go rematch Boychuk. Y'all letting him off the hook. He won't even. So Terrence Crawford, if he get dropped twice by Canelo, I want him to get treated just like Vergil Ortiz got treated after that Boychuk fight. Please and thank you. If anybody if that happens and anybody bring it up, I just want you to know before that happens that I kept the same energy and you did not. That's all I want you to know. Yeah, we pulling their cards before the fight starts. Because it's going to be a lot of Vergil Ortiz fans that if Terrence Crawford even touch the ground if he tripped. Oh, I ain't going to never forget that. What about Boychuk though? Oh, I know people ain't going to want to hear this. This ain't for them. Trust me, this ain't for y'all. Y'all ain't gonna want to hear this. That's why it's called Can't Face It Boxing. And people ever wonder, like, why his name is that? This is why. Yeah, I'm finna live up to the expectations. So if Terrence Crawford glove touched the ground twice, if Terrence Crawford glove touched the ground twice like Vergil Ortiz, is those Vergil Ortiz fans gonna give him a pass like they did Vergil Ortiz? I'm asking. I'm asking. Cause I see people petty. Let me tell you what's petty. Making a video about somebody being on PEDs every day is petty. Now, if I go up here and I make a video every day talking about, hey, will y'all criticize Vergil? Uh, glove touching the ground twice. If the same way you would do Terrence Crawford, if that was to happen to him, what you think they gonna do? Oh man, he being petty. He being petty. Boy, y'all out here giving passes like Michael Vick. Yes, sir. They giving passes. And we ain't talking about no fight. I'm talking about just see people be thinking they gonna come to the live and hear something. they think they be thinking I'm gonna talk about something that everybody else talk about. No, no, I don't even know what people talking about, to be honest with you. I've been busy. I don't be checking like that. I really ain't got no side in this. That's the hard part. Bro, when you ain't playing no side, that's when, I run into the trouble. I ain't really playing no side. I'm just telling the truth. I'm not really playing no sides. I'm just telling the truth. That's it. Not playing any sides. But that right there lets you know right now that these Mexican fighters and trainers who are bringing up the fact that uh, the Tom and Jerry stuff and all the stuff I'm hearing, and if guys gonna actually try to go out there if Terrence Crawford gonna try to go for a knockout, are you serious? Moves around the rings? What? Man, look. At this point, man, it's 2025. I ain't got time to be dancing around somebody a racist or not. Like real talk. I'm not finna wait till I get gray hair to be like, oh, he's a racist. No, we're gonna find out now. No, we're gonna find out now. See, on my channel, I ain't even gotta play that. I ain't even gotta bring that up. All I gotta do is bring up what I just brought up. Is Vergil, if Terrence Crawford get dropped twice, will he get criticized like Vergil Ortiz did? Will he get a pass like Vergil did? I'm asking. Will people forget that? And I'm just asking. Because we talking about going up how many weight classes? And people saying being house small. Now people trying to act like Canelo going up with Godzilla or something. Man, these people better stop it. They better start reporting that news the right way. Oh, shout out my dog PD. What's up, dog? Man, they had me heated this morning. I'm really calm now. I was heated, man, before I got on here. I'm like, man, this stuff I gotta hear, bro. Like, to be honest with you, dudes out here, man, I'm really chilling right now. But I really could be going in right now on a lot of different stuff that's going on right now. I be really chilling. I know the algorithm be on my back, but I really be chilling though. But the double standards in boxing, it's destroying. It been destroying the sport, man. I mean, come on, they've been doing it too long, bro. How long are they gonna continue? They already got to go away from pay per view because it's getting so bad. They've been doing it so much that they had to go away from pay per view. People don't even want to pay for it no more. Oh yeah, that's what's up, man. They're getting an early run. That's why people are interested in the Norman and Haney fight right now. They like, oh, all we gotta do is talk about the fight coming up. That's easier. You got one of the biggest fights in boxing. Think about this now. You got one of the biggest fights in boxing coming up, and nobody can say nothing good. Then you got dudes praising prospects like they did something, and then it's like you got number one pound for pound fighters. They saying who ain't did nothing. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. Like the culture, and people got to realize this is deeper than just the media and everybody else. At this point, the media can change everything they saying, and it's been talked about so long. What they say, indoctrinated so long that now it's genetic almost. It's like almost in the DNA. Yeah, runner, Tom and Jerry. Like, come on, man. Like, grow up, bro. We're talking about a sport where two Japanese fighters just died recently on the same day. And dudes is talking about runners. Tell me you never played any sport before. Even football, when somebody get put on the ground and they got to pull the stretcher out, everybody get quiet. Yeah, you got still got guys talking about Tom and Jerry. I got to do a video on that later. Two guys died in the same night. I guess they Tom and Jerry too, huh? Man, stop the disrespect, man. Like for real. Too many trainers talking like that. That ain't gotta take punches. It's really disrespectful to the fighters for a trainer to talk like his life was on the line in the boxing ring, and it never was. Yeah, I can't wait for the fight. Yeah, even Inoue get dropped. Nobody talked about it. By Neary spit them around in a circle. That's probably the most disrespectful knockout I ever seen. And you ain't seeing no loops or highlights or memes or nothing. Ain't nobody doing no Michael Jackson, Billie Jean memes. Nothing. That dude spitting around on one leg like Michael Jackson. I ain't seen not one meme. Yeah, people passing out from heat exhaustion, frostbite, and we talking about just the weather. You got to fight another person for 30 minutes. Yeah, he's a runner. If a couple of these boxers would have actually run, they probably would have still be alive. But yeah, tell me what you want to see without telling me. They talk about Wilder. Oh, he said he want a body on his record. Nah, tell me what you want to see without telling me. It sounds like you want to see something like that. You don't want a guy to move back if he's in danger? Jeez, car wreck. Yeah, I be forgetting about that. Yeah, Terrence Crawford made the guy so famous that they called the guy Mean Machine. That's how famous Terrence Crawford made that guy. Like people actually know who that guy is in boxing. They probably couldn't tell you 4 people that Vergil fought, but they actually know who this guy is. They'll say Crawford ain't fought nobody. Uh Tell me 4 people Vergil fought right now. They know who Mean Machine is. He put that dude on the map. Yeah, Vergil fought him after that. He said Vergil said in the interview Mean Machine was his hardest fight in his career. Yeah, Mean Machine was that deal. By then, bro, by the time Vergil fought Mean Machine, Crawford had already broke his will, man. If y'all want to see Crawford was breaking guys' will. Like people don't understand. Crawford wasn't even trying to knock guys out when I was watching him. When I was watching Terrence Crawford, he was beating the crap out of dudes. Like ending careers when I was watching him. Like you know how dudes got Floyd Schofields and Abdullah Masons. Terrence Crawford was destroying all those type of guys before they even had a career. If he wouldn't have been around, it would have been a lot of careers in boxing. But he was knocking guys like that off a long time ago. That's why a PVC wouldn't have been safe with a guy like that. They would have he would have got those guys out of the way early by knockout. Yeah, basically. At this point, when it get 2 years, yes, it's pretty serious at that point. Yeah, that's when they starting to realize though. People are looking at Canelo's resume. The Terrence Crawford criticism is people that don't want to criticize Canelo. They know Canelo's resume is put together. They don't want to tell you that Canelo's last 2 opponents have been knocked out since they fought him, and that was just last year. You know, they don't want to tell you stuff like that. You know, they got to point the finger at Terrence Crawford. He's doing something wrong. They've been doing that for years. When Terrence Crawford retires, they're not going to have anything to talk about. The media, nobody. I'm going to be honest with you. Everything that people have been talking about in boxing has been around Terrence Crawford. From his contract situations and the Spence thing and Top Rank and this Canelo thing and size. They done squeezed 2 years out of that. So when he retires, you know, ain't nobody gonna have nothing to talk about for real. These young guys, be prepared. If you ain't ready for somebody to say, you ain't fought nobody after you number 1 pound for pound, I don't know. You might not be ready to be that guy then. Yeah. If you can't have 10 straight knockouts and then have one fight with no knockout and they say you're a runner and you ain't got no power, I don't think you're ready for that lifestyle yet. Because that's what's going on right now. This ain't the old days. These are not the old days. They used to mold you and bake you. Now they putting you in the blender. But I'm telling you right now, I'm being serious about this. The criticism right now, I would say it's a red flag because if guys can't get held to the same standard right now, people are basically waving a red flag, the white flag, and just saying that it's total domination right now in the sport of boxing. When you got to lean towards one way more than the other, that means it's total domination right now. If people want to have the Vergil Ortiz Boots conversation about who ducking or whatever to make them feel better over the next however long, that's cool. I just felt like this energy was wanted when Canelo and Benavidez was being talked about. Where was this energy? When Crawford was calling out Charlo, where was this energy that everybody has now on display? I'm confused. When Teofimo was getting called out by Devin Haney, or when Top Rank had the Brian Norman fight set up last year, where was all this? I'm just confused. Shoot, Vergil ain't knocking nobody out no more. Vergil ain't had no knockout at 54. He ain't knocking nobody out. His knockout days is over right now. And this is no offense to him. I'm just saying, keeping it a buck. We going down stats. His knockout days is finito. It's over. Right now. And touched the canvas twice in the last 12 months. What? Man. Hey, look. If he ain't getting it, I can't even compare him to Crawford now. I don't think he got to come with Crawford right now. He did the same thing that Crawford did against Madramal and got credit for it. He ain't have Eddie Hearn running around. Oh, he lost. He ain't getting none of that. Scot-free. He ain't had nobody say that Madramal ain't fought nobody. Who is he? He ain't really did nothing. You know, Crawford had to take all those licks so he can run. I'm just telling y'all right now. These days in boxing, it's bad luck to baby these guys. It's been a lot of guys that have been babied over the years. Like I said recently, Mikey Garcia went up two weight classes, no criticism. Adrian Bronner did it, no criticism. Terrence Crawford does it, criticism. So y'all telling me that Mikey Garcia and Adrian Bronner can go up 2 weight classes, but Terrence Crawford can't? That's crazy. Oh yeah, and that did happen. We can't look that up. They do have box recs out here. Mikey Garcia and Adrian Bronner went up 2 weight classes. And those fights were called classics. Before and after. Think about that. We got Canelo and Terrence Crawford coming out right now. But Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence is going to get more respect put on their name before the fight than Terrence Crawford versus Canelo. That's odd. Oh yeah. Amir Khan, that was one weight class, wasn't it? Or that was 2? Canelo was at 60? Canelo's at 60. Yeah, you're right. Amir Khan. Forgot about that. Amir Khan. That's another guy. Amir Khan went up. People talking about, yeah, Amir Khan, chinny. Yeah, after going up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, yeah, you might be chinny after that. Yeah, it might be the reason. I heard people say he is, but they never figured out the reason why he's chinny. Probably the reason why. You know how people been saying guys get ruined? It's probably what happened. They know when other guys get ruined, so yeah, Amir Khan was a skinny guy. He was a skinny 47. He's not really big. I seen him at like, I guess he walks around 70, 75. It's not really a big 75. He's tall, but got long arms. But yeah, he went up 2 weight classes. And Amir Khan, to be honest with you, like I said, if you look at Amir Khan before he fought Canelo, him and Kell Brook, and after Kell Brook fought Triple G, it was a wrap. But what people don't even realize, like I said before, Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford was right there. They could have fought Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford. Didn't make a difference. Everybody know at the time Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford was better. But that's a long story though. What people don't even realize about certain things, the politics behind boxing. Well, I'll just give people a gem right now for what people don't even realize, because they fed Triple G, Kell Brook, and they fed Amir Khan, Canelo. That made Terrence Crawford. That hurt Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence both of their resumes. But people don't know stuff like that. I'm not supposed to say stuff like that, but it happened almost 10 years ago, whatever. So they should give me a pass on that one. But because those guys went out of their way to fight somebody who was supposed to fight Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, people don't realize, but that fight was supposed to happen a long time ago. It was going to be Amir Khan, Kell Brook after Kell Brook fought Sean Porter, all that other stuff, but they was already going to set it up that way. But they had this dude jump in the ring with Triple G, and like, bro, they've been hurting Terrence Crawford's resume on purpose. People talking about he ain't trying to fight nobody. How he ain't trying to fight nobody? You got 47s jumping up to 160 to fight somebody. So Terrence Crawford got to chase a 147 to 160 when he just got to 47, or he at 140. So his resume has been getting hurt on purpose. Why does Canelo have Amir Khan on his resume? Tell me why? Why? Nobody has an answer. They will never have an answer. Why the hell is he on his resume? You had Charlo, Andre, and everybody else. They went out of their way to hurt Terrence Crawford's resume on purpose. Out of their way. What Mufasa said deliberately. And people, oh yeah, he got a strong resume. He's supposed to. What you mean? He's supposed to have a strong resume. He's fighting guys he ain't even supposed to be fighting. And I'm not saying for good looks. Amir Khan was never supposed to be on the man's resume. People look now, they're like, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. 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 This is something probably boxers want to explain, but they can't explain. Like I said, politics and everything. It's the fans' job to stay away from the politics, not to reproduce the politics or regurgitate it. That's hurting the sport of boxing. Don't nobody talk about stuff like that. Man, resume was already been hurt years ago. He should have been on a Charlo fight 2021, around that time or something. They were talking about him fighting McGregor in 2020, 2019 or something like that. They already was going to make Terrence Crawford a mega star. But he got to wait on everybody else because they ain't ready. They wasn't ready to be great. Oh wow, I want to fight this guy. I ain't gonna fight Andre. He ain't fought nobody. Yeah, man, we seen the play a long time ago. If they don't change stuff like that, if stuff like that continues, stuff like that, because that can still happen right now, no matter what's going on. If stuff like that continues, because sometimes when guys jump these weight classes, like they're trying to do now, when it's pointless, if they keep doing that, that's going to continue. That's definitely going to continue. Because I'm being honest with y'all, bro. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna keep it real. The reason why I've been irritated a little bit recently is because if you go back and look, Gary Russell was trying to fight. Gary Russell Jr. was trying to fight Tank Davis around the time Tank Davis fought Ryan Garcia. Even before that, trying to fight Tank Davis. Tank Davis fought Hector Garcia at 130. Oh, at 130. And now when you look at Tank Davis' resume, it's like, okay, he's fighting the guys around where Haney's at, like a Ryan Garcia or whatever, but what about the Gary Russells, the Lomas, these guys? Now people looking back at Tank's resume like, oh man, so this man might retire without fighting Tevin Farmer, Gary Russell, Lomachenko, even the Andy Cruz I throw out there because he ain't talked about. So sometimes people don't realize that staying at weight classes is important a lot more time than people realize, or just fighting the greats around where you at. Then you under the same umbrella, in-house, you doing in-house fights, and you ain't fighting the guy who's the best win on Loma's resume. That's not a good look. So you ain't fighting Loma best win or his resume. I mean, or him. So stuff like that kind of hurting things. It's improving, but I think the people who's doing it the way they're supposed to, they were gonna do that way regardless. But it hurts guys' resumes though. I'm just telling you. Because once your resume is the way it is, you can't go back and redo it. And if you have the power to make any kind of fight that you can make, bro, that's gonna be a bad look. Yeah, Jaron Ennis, I want to say is number one. Pacquiao and somebody else. Forgot who the other guy was. Yeah, man. What people don't understand is, as a Tank fan, because we got a lot of people who are Tank fans on this channel or any other channel. But as a Tank fan, when you tell me that you don't put pressure on Tank to fight a Loma, a Gary Russell, so Gary Russell goes out there and fighting nobody recently, and now putting pressure on him to fight Lamont Roach, man, he could have been fought Tank, man. People was acting like Gary Russell wasn't good enough to fight Tank. I don't know. I'm confused as why the fight recently gave them more confidence than his resume. I mean, he's the best win on Loma's resume. I don't know why they ain't never put pressure on Tank to fight this guy. Tevin Farmer, a lot of guys. Even Andy Cruz and him almost the same age. It don't look like that's gonna happen. You said Dodge. To be real, it looks that way because when you don't have a Gary Russell fight, when you don't fight a Gary Russell Jr., but you fight a Hector Garcia in DC, that never made sense to me. I was like, who? I'm like, why would he fight Hector Garcia in DC? And then when you look back now, it looks even worse. And then Lamont Rowe said we was actually supposed to fight. Well, why wasn't Gary Russell your backup then? As a businessman at PVC, I would have been like, hey, Gary Russell the backup. Antoine Russell would have been the third option. Bruh, PVC slipped on that one. I'm gonna be real with y'all. It should have been Lamont Rowe said he was the first option. Then it would have been Gary Russell Jr., second option. Antoine Russell, third option, because he was making 135. He had already said it. So when you look back at it, it's like, dang, out of that, y'all got Hector Garcia and Ryan. And you had Roach and both Russells right there. They hurting these guys' resumes. And people think that it's hating to come on here and say, hey, don't hurt Tank Davis' resume. Put him in a ring with somebody. Oh, man, y'all ain't saying that about the other guy. Okay. The other guy ain't my favorite fighter, but all right. If it's like that, then I don't like him. I don't rock with brother. Since it's like that, you ain't fighting for the fans, then it is what it is. Then. That's what a disconnect is, bro. I'm talking about you got Gary Antoine Russell. That's crazy. But you gonna put him in the ring with Puello so he can get beat. Yeah, that was but Rose said that he was the backup on that fight plan though. Rose said that that's why they picked DC specifically. Because they could have went with Brooklyn because Cobra is from New York. So they could have fought in Brooklyn, no problem. But since he had lost, they went with DC and yeah, I think Roach had said it on that YouTube channel Bag Fuel on their interview. Yeah, I had knew about that Cobra situation. That's facts. He was supposed to fight Cobra. But when they threw Roach in the loop, that's why I was like, oh. And then they was like, nah, never mind. And then they doubled back recently and made the fight again. And then recently, old boy was Plan B. What was his name? De Los Santos. Because De Los Santos went from being he was gonna fight on Tank card. Then he went from that fight with him and Rayo getting canceled. Then he was an option for Tank. Last October, September, something like that. So yeah, Tank had some names around there, but because if De Los Santos would have had a chance, he would have fought him. But they messing up, man, not having him jump in the ring with a Gary Russell though. That was a bad look. To have him go out there and fight Mark Messiah with one arm, but not have him fight Tank, yeah, that's crazy. And the man's still sharp right now. And I even said recently that he should Lomachenko should have rematched Gary Russell. But Lomachenko hung it up though. He didn't have no other option. Besides Tank, who was Lomachenko gonna fight? Shakur, he wasn't gonna fight him. Wasn't gonna fight Keyshawn. He could have fought Gary Russell again. But yeah, they let that one get away. But with Vergil Ortiz and Boots, that whole situation, I'm not really too much invested in the back and forth with them about fight dates. I already know the fight gonna happen, no matter what they say. But because money gonna talk regardless. But what I'm looking at is at 154, which one of y'all gonna deal with Fedora though? Still gonna have to fight at 154. For real. Terrence Crawford can hang it up tonight. What they gonna do with Fundora? Because Fundora, he's stopping guys at 54. He ain't going 12, and everybody saying, "Oh, he that guy." He's stopping guys up there. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if anybody can beat Fundora with that belt. Yeah, I do too. Cause you can't be halfway in with boxing. That's why Tank went that sharp against Roach. He went sharp against Roach, and he's not getting younger. Mess around, Tank prime about be 24 through 29 or something like that. We don't know what his prime is. Maybe his prime was 23 through 29. Everybody ain't better in their 30s. So they wasted his prime years right now. That's the biggest question mark for me. I'm like, so his best years, his last best years, we're going to do a Lamont Roach one time in 2025. Just not the move. Then you got Inouye active. You got Inouye fighting 4 times this year. So y'all going to have him running around, knocking dudes out. You got Tank fighting 1 time. Then they're talking about, oh, well, he got something going on outside the ring. Bro, I don't know if everybody know it or not. Every boxer got something going on outside the ring. Good and bad. A lot of bad. Everybody got something going on outside the ring. Everybody. For real. A lot of people. If he don't get in the ring and fight, they gonna waste his good years. They gonna have him go out like Mike. He gonna go out there flat and get flattened. They gonna set him up. They gonna set him up because everybody else acting, man. Everybody else getting better. Shakur's getting better, stronger. Everybody's getting better. You're gonna get better when you boxing different styles and fighting different guys. I know people want Lamont Roach to fight other people right now and get another fight, but that ain't gonna mean nothing. Lamont Roach, he's set for life. The same way Pitbull, he all he did was go 12 with Tank. And they throwing him in every kind of championship fight you could think of. Lamont Roach just had a draw with Tank. He gonna be good. I promise y'all, he gonna be good. Nobody has to worry about Lamont Roach. He gonna be straight. Everybody talking about, man, he using that draw like he won. He's supposed to. Nobody thought he would even get a draw. Nah, they ain't cut T.O. no slack. But T.O. just said that Ryan ducked him though. I know that's true. I know that's definitely true. They trying to line up Ryan. That's about the 3rd time he got lined up with T.O. Yeah, Kovalev had all kind of stuff going on. That's why he fought Canelo. This dude sat up here and fought Canelo like a month or two. Listen to me. This dude fought Canelo a few weeks after he fought Anthony Yarde. He was so desperate for a payday. I have never seen a boxer so desperate for a payday. The man admits he was desperate and everything else. Then he complains about Canelo. He said he hoped Crawford knocks him out. Bro, really, that's your fault. And what everybody bring up is, man, Canelo knocked out Kovalev. Like, Kovalev part of the problem. He the one who helped the hype grow after Canelo knocked him out. After Canelo knocked out Kovalev, everybody was like, oh, Canelo knocking out 75s. Man, I don't want to Kovalev say nothing about Canelo. Charlo lasted longer than you. I don't want to hear anything. Stu had Jamel Charlo lasted longer than Kovalev. He gonna blame Canelo for being desperate. What's up, AR? Yeah, I'm gonna watch Moses and Duplessis. I got Shemaev in that fight. Yeah, you block out their personal life, man. Got to. Floyd had all kind of stuff going on. Had the girls around, still was performing. So yeah, they can't use that as an excuse. They criticize it, but if those guys go do the same thing Floyd did when he was going partying and all that stuff, those guys be out here losing. And a lot of those guys try to do that and it don't happen. Even the tank can do that. A lot of guys can't do it. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Straight legal issues. Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's fact though. Y'all heard what PD said? Canelo brother was kidnapped and he fought. Think about that, y'all. Canelo brother got kidnapped and he fought. Still fought. Yeah, people want the outside of the ring stuff, dog. It only hurts Tank Davis in this way. You can't spend your best years fighting one time a year. That's not gonna happen. He'll probably be the only fighter that happens to. Shoot, even Gary Russell got Lomachenko early. Shoot, T.O. just turned down Devin Haney, man. T.O. cooked, bro. I think T.O. done, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, PD. I think T.O. done, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I think he cooked, man. He ain't getting no knockouts lately. I think he done, man. Not because of the knockouts, but I just think he gonna be on a level where he ain't fighting no black fighters, man. I just gotta keep it real. Like, bro needs to fight black fighters. I know everybody said they ain't gonna fight him or nothing. He needs to fight black fighters. Until he fights black fighters, he is the ultimate sucker to me. He's not fighting any black fighters. Tank Davis got criticized for it, but T.O. was doing it way more than Tank Davis. He's not fighting anybody black. Not one black guy. With T.O., I'm like, bro, you ain't fighting nobody black. How far your resume gonna get in boxing? So when T.O. name come up, I 1000% know he ain't finna fight no black dude. Only thing the closest thing he gonna do is spar or hug him in the stands of the fight. But he ain't fighting no brothers. Jermaine Ortiz half black. That's about the closest we done got. Uh yeah, Comey, African. Yeah, what about over here? No black guys on Teofimo resume. Yeah, he ain't fighting no black guys. There's a lot of these guys like that. Those days are over. They're about to get stripped naked and exposed in the street like a broad. These dudes finna get exposed. These dudes ain't fighting no black fighters. Cambosis, how many black fighters he fought? He fought Hitchens, Haney twice. Oh, okay. Tiafimo, how many black guys he fought? Half. Jaron Ortiz. I'm telling y'all, man, the boy cook. Being real with y'all, no disrespect. But he disrespecting himself. He's cooked. Nah, he ain't fighting no black dudes, bro. He over with. It's a lot of these Mexican fighters ain't finna fight no black dudes. They ain't finna do it. They are not finna do it. A lot of these dudes, when even when Wilder was coming up walking around 200 pounds, there wasn't no cruiserweights or no light heavyweights. Like, man, I knock Wilder out. There wasn't no Zerdos walking around like, man, I knock Wilder out. These dudes don't be trying to jump weight classes like that. They know their limitations. It go time now. It's go time. At this time, they try them days of using other people's name about the ducking and stuff. A lot of guys think it's still the days where you be like, oh, this man ducking. Bro, them days over with. If you ain't fighting nobody, dudes ain't even finna watch. You gonna have to get on somebody else's card to bring some eyes to you. If it's not like a super fight, some people not even gonna watch it now. You're gonna start hearing some people gonna say, hey, is this a turkey card? They're gonna be like, nah, oh well, I ain't finna watch it. If T.O.'s not on the turkey card, 9 times out of 10, they ain't finna watch it. Like a Vergil Ortiz, that's why I can compare Vergil Ortiz to an Oscar, because he wants to smoke. No matter how he performs in the ring, he wants to smoke. His resume is going to be filled from top to bottom when he retires. And he's going to have black guys on there. And actually wants to fight them and get in the ring with them. And is a clean fighter. That's why I didn't criticize him that much when he was having his issues with weight and everything else. Because you got other guys out here taking stuff to make weight. So that's why I gave Vergil Ortiz the pass, because I'm experienced enough to know that, okay, he's not taking something to lose weight. So if he's having trouble with that, at least he's staying clean about it. And that was years ago when I was thinking about that, before all these guys start popping. But some people will say, man, he was out there long. Hey, man, dude was clean, though. And he came back, he fought these guys. But to put these guys on the same level as a Crawford, though, that's where the mistake is going in boxing. When Manny Pacquiao was boxing, nobody was running around and saying that Maidana was going to be better than Pacquiao because he beat Broner and all this other stuff. You understand what I'm saying? We got people jumping through hoops to make sure they say a guy's better than a certain guy. Yeah, Vergil a beast. Yeah, he definitely a beast. And getting better too. That's why I said, man, if I was Boots, I would have fought him February, man, to be honest with you. I wouldn't let this guy get comfortable at 54 like that. I wouldn't have. If you seen, I'm telling you, February would have been a good time for Boots to get at him. I thought that Boots was gonna use his super champion status, but I don't know. Nah, I think I give T.O. credit though. I don't think he's I don't think it's purposely done a lot of time. I think behind the scenes, they co-sign that stuff that he does. You know what I'm saying? I think behind the scenes that get co-signed allegedly. I don't want to get in trouble. But I think allegedly that get co-signed a lot of times. I think what T.O. does actually gets co-signed a lot. But right now, at the time, right now, all I know about is right now. I know he's going back and forth with Shakur Stevenson. But right now, like I said, Ryan Garcia got one fight with Oscar, and Oscar trying to line him up with Teofimo Lopez. He trying to line him up with Teofimo Lopez. TLB Ryan, that's gonna validate him even more. Look how much respect Rolly has got. He gonna try to line him up. People don't believe it, but this time next year, they'll see what promoter Ryan Garcia is with. This ain't the Tank situation. When they see Ryan Garcia with a whole nother promoter, they're gonna be like, oh man, he went line. I mean, it's the same thing that happens all the time. It's the same situation. Canelo was over there, Oscar. They had a back and forth. He ended up leaving. It's just this time, Oscar's like, when you leave, you allegedly, you might leave with another L. I'm gonna make sure I'm able to replace you this time. Cause what did Oscar say recently? They said, oh, we want what about Rolly and Ryan? He was like, nah, I want Carell to fight Rolly. I want Ryan to fight Teofimo. Now ain't nobody expect that. Yeah, Ryan ain't he fighting up. And then right now, you know what's crazy? They talking about Pitbull. Ryan ain't trying to fight no 147s. I told people that a long time now, for a whole year. While everybody was chit chatting about Ryan, I said the dude ain't finna fight no 147s. He can call out Crawford. He can call out Boots. The dude won't fight a 147 Blair Cobbs right now. He might lose to Blair Cobbs right now. He ain't finna fight no 147s. He don't want none of the smoke. They don't want him to have none of the smoke. That's why they like, oh, we ain't even gonna think about Haney and Ryan rematch. For what? It ain't no pressure getting put on those guys. No pressure at all. What the pressure at for those guys? Cause I'm gonna be honest with you. By 2026, I'm gonna be tired of hearing Ryan and Teofimo name just being. I'm already tired about it now. I'm tired of hearing their name just put in certain fights when they have all the opportunity and chances in the world. Like if it's them or their team or whoever involved, man, nobody want to hear about that no more. That's what's been hurting boxing. The dudes ain't got no resumes that say boxing. They hurting boxing, both of them. If it continue, they gonna help destroy boxing. Right now, they're wasting space in on cards for Turkey Al Sheik, and they're holding up fight cards because they're pulling out of fights and they're rescheduling and everything else. That is hurting the sport of boxing right now, 1,000%. If they keep pulling out of fights, out of rematches and everything else, that is going to continue to hurt the sport of boxing, like it's been doing in years past, and it's continuing now because of two guys. One of them who ain't never been a champion, who ain't gonna never be a champion, because he lost to Rolly when they tried to hand it to him on a silver platter, and he was gonna end up fighting Manny Pacquiao, like I told everybody last year. I've been saying it for a whole year and a half. The dude trying to fight Pacquiao. What's up, John? What's up, dog? I said, man, the dude gonna try to fight Pacquiao. He trying to fight Pacquiao. Everybody like, man, you don't know what you talking about. If Ryan Garcia would have beat Rolly, what belt is Pacquiao trying to fight for right now? These people thought I was just talking. I'm like, bro, Pacquiao's trying to fight Ryan Garcia. Pacquiao said he was gonna fight Ryan Garcia after the Devin Haney fight. I had to be the only guy that probably reported that. So it's, it didn't go anywhere. But Pacquiao said that Ryan Garcia, I'm gonna fight him after the Devin Haney fight. And what happened after Ryan Garcia fought Devin Haney? He got suspended. So the fight couldn't happen. They definitely had that fight lined up. I'm telling you, when it comes to Ryan Garcia, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about the dude because he really ain't bringing no views like that anyways. It's kind of hurting the views. But I'm trying, I got to help explain the sport of boxing because he's caused so much trouble that people don't know what's going on. Like, dudes, like, I don't know, man. He's like hurting the sport of boxing in a lot of ways. Just announcing fights that ain't real, then the real fights ain't getting announced. Okay, they want him to fight Teofimo Lopez right now. The Pitbull stuff, fake. They got Pitbull doing something else right now. Pitbull's they want him to fight Teofimo Lopez right now. Teofimo Lopez team has reached out to Ryan Garcia multiple times. Multiple. Even Bob said this. They tried to have him fight on a Super Bowl weekend last year. Plenty of times. They've been trying to line him up for a while now. He don't want to take the fight. That's why I said then. I should have known going into the Haney fight something was up with the dude. I should have known. You got confidence to fight Haney, but not Teofimo. I should have known. I should have known, man. And if you go back, well, I had it the live up, but I said it live. This dude's huge. I'm telling you, the last 3 or 4 times I've said that, guys have popped dirty. I'm like, man, that guy's huge, or man, that guy's throwing a lot of punches. I don't usually say that a lot. Like the way some of these guys been throwing punches, and then the Rodriguez guy, I said recently, man, something ain't right. This guy just threw 1,000 punches. I don't know if people know it or not. That's a lot of punches. But yeah, they said, to be honest with y'all, man, they're setting a lot of these Mexican fighters up, Latin fighters up, because they're putting pressure on them to compete with guys that they're not their level. The only difference between them is, the only thing that's the same is that they're the same weight class and everything else. They're probably the same age, but they're trying to have guys compete against each other and build up certain rivals, and it's not working. They're hurting careers right now. Whatever they're doing with Ryan, they're hurting him. They're not holding him responsible, and it's hurting his career. And other fighters, it will do the same thing with other fighters. Teofimo, the same way. If the dude doesn't get better, people are still going to be bragging about how he fought a guy who ain't black and did a good job. Because usually people are always focused on race in boxing until you're looking at a guy's resume. That's the only time where race don't come up in boxing. That's why I said it's calculated in boxing. The only time you don't hear about race or somebody or what country somebody from is when they talking about resumes. When they looking at certain resumes, they are not looking at any of that stuff. They like, oh, he a big name, or he did see that. Okay, that's cool. But who is he beat? Oh, well, him and Shakur going back and forth. That's cool. He's not finna jump in the ring with that. That's why I said that look like a distraction to me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When him and Shakur going back and forth, that ain't finna go nowhere. If he's not gonna take a fight with Devin Haney, who is a bigger payday, he doesn't want to fight. And he turned down Brian Norman. Don't want to fight. Yeah, they're trying to keep him alive at Ryan Garcia alive, but it is what it is. That's why I bring him up. Other people feel like it's a waste of time. Don't shine any light on him. Uh, Nobody had no problem shining light on him after he failed the test last year. So I don't trust me. I'm not an opportunist. But yeah, number 4 at the rankings is insane, dog. They got this dude ranked number 4 right now in the WBA. Number 4. He ain't finna fight nobody. That's why I don't get into it with the back and forth, man. Like at this time right now, we need to be seeing who people are fighting. And it's hurting the sport. I'm gonna be honest with y'all why. And Turkey finna push all these guys out of the way. People don't believe me, but I'm gonna tell you why Turkey's gonna do it. It's other guys. Well, let's just say this. Let me just say hypothetically. Let's just say if everything that people are saying that's true about what Turkey is. People say that Turkey is a guy who has his certain fighters he likes, and some people say that he leans towards Muslim fighters. If that's true, then I mean Ryan Garcia and Tiafimo should be out of the way very soon, right? If that's true. But they're gonna be around more than anybody else. Yeah, I think 47 is it don't got a lot of action going on, man. They got too many fights going outside of the division. My boy John came in here late and then said the same thing I said. Shout out to John. Yeah, you right about that, PD. Weakest I've seen. John, I said that earlier, dog. I was saying earlier that cause I ain't got a dog in the fight, to be honest with y'all. I like Vergil and Boots. But my only problem is it seemed like people try to use, instead of comparing Vergil and Boots to a Earl Spence or Sean Porter or Keith Thurman coming up, their names have been attached to Terrence Crawford immediately, like ever since all the way back then. That's the thing that got me confused as far as with those two guys. It's like, okay, y'all just trying to compare those guys against Crawford and nobody else. But with Vergil, my thing with Vergil is he doesn't have a knockout at 54. And he's probably getting the biggest pass in boxing right now when it comes from trainers, Mexican trainers, Hispanic trainers, Latin trainers, boxers. The same way. They got all this smoke for Terrence Crawford after the Madrimov performance. Vergil goes out there, fights the same way that Terrence Crawford did against Madrimov. And for some reason, everybody can break down that fight. I'm telling y'all, breaking down fights is a waste of time. They don't care. They can go out there and break down the Madrimov versus Vergil Ortiz fight, which is actually harder to break down because Madrimov he won more rounds in the first 5 or 6 rounds. He won more rounds than Vergil Ortiz did. He started off fast those rounds. But you don't see people sitting there saying, yeah, well, Vergil Ortiz can deal with that guy. Madrimov fighting Terrence Crawford gave him respect. So by the time Vergil fought him next, he was respected as an opponent. So now, because Terrence Crawford fought Madrimov, now Madrimov that guy. When Terrence Crawford fought him, he was a nobody. It's the double standards. And then I said this too, John. If Terrence Crawford goes out there and fights the same way that Vergil Ortiz did against Bochuk, what you think everybody gonna say? They gonna say he's a bum. Vergil Ortiz fans are gonna go out there and say that Terrence Crawford is a bum if he goes out there and fights the same way that Bochuk fought. I mean, the same way that Vergil fought against Bochuk. Everybody let him off the hook last year. I'm not even gonna bring it up because I did a whole bunch of lives on it. Everybody was like, bro, you don't know what you talking about. Cool. He got 0 knockouts at 54, 0 criticism. He's not being called a Tom and Jerry fighter. He got dropped twice. He's not being called Chinny. Nothing like that. Not that I want him to. If you're going to compare him to Terrence Crawford, would you say the same thing about Vergil that you're saying about Terrence Crawford? Or you think Vergil is that better than Terrence Crawford? How? Because they fought the same guy? So put Vergil in the ring with Canelo next then. What are we talking about? How about I got a video coming out later on? Oh, hold on. All right. My bad, y'all. Yeah. I got a video coming out later on about Vergil Ortiz sparring Canelo later on. I'm going to explain to everybody about Vergil Ortiz, what he said about sparring Canelo. As soon as I get off of here. He sparred Canelo. And it don't sound like he'll get in the ring with Canelo anytime soon if he had a chance. So appreciate the guy you got who actually want to go in there. Matter of fact, I remember before Charlo fought Canelo, he got a lot of respect put on his name. I said, wow, Charlo. I said, this is the most respect I've seen Charlo get before a fight. I remember everything. Shout out to 903 Boxing. He said, facts, a Bud can box Canelo, they going to say he ran, the fans will boo him. Yeah, also, if he get dropped twice like Vergil Ortiz and win the fight, they going to say he's a bum. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. If his glove touched the ground twice and he walk Canelo down or do whatever, and his glove touched the ground twice, they going to say he's a bum. Straight up. I already know what time it is. They gave Vergil a huge pass last year. They gave him a Dan Marino from 75 type of pass. They got all the smoke for Terrence Crawford. I'm like, okay, I see what's up. I see what time it is. But I'm going to tell you this right now. When Terrence Crawford retires, it's going to be some high expectations for Boots, Vergil, and everybody else. And like I said earlier, I don't know who can beat Fundora with that belt. Fundora did get cracked by Mendoza. But ain't nobody punching like Mendoza in boxing, though. Not at 54. It ain't too many guys punching like him at 54. If anybody knows what time it is. It ain't too many people punching like him. Not at 154. He one of the hardest punchers in boxing. Dude can crack for real. But that's crazy, though. John is right, though. He said the same thing I said. And John jumped on here late, too. Wasn't even talking about the Vergil and Boots thing. But with Boots, as far as I know, Boots was calling out Vergil a long time ago. And Vergil, what's the first thing Vergil said? Well, not now. We'll do it down the line. And I was like, all right, cool then. It was what it is. He ain't ready. I was like, all right, Boots, you need to go ahead and fight Spence. That's when Boots called out Spence. See, all this stuff that already happened already. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff should have already happened. What actually should have happened was you should have had more guys like Khan and Thurman after he lost to Pacquiao. He should have stepped in and fought the Boots around that time. But what Thurman said was, He was supposed to fight Spence. I don't know if everybody heard that recently. Did everybody hear that? Or should I report that? Did everybody hear that recently? Let me write that down real quick. Because I guess that wasn't reported recently, but Keith Thurman said recently that he was supposed to fight Spence after the Pacquiao fight. Yeah, they just trying to say that about Canelo got old. They said that already after Berlanga got knocked out. After I seen what everybody said about Canelo after Berlanga got knocked out, they ain't really trying to stand on business like that when it comes to Canelo. I still got respect for Canelo though. He took the fight. Man, it's gonna be a lot of guys that's gonna retire. That's not gonna have Terrence Crawford on their resume, and that's sad that Canelo would take the fight, but other guys won't. What's up, the Butcher? You said Vergil got a better resume than Boots and in talks with Thurman, not a tune-up. Yeah. Better resume. Uh, I mean, I don't want to debate about anything like that. I mean, you can be correct about that, but what if I say this though? Resume as far as opponents, yes. Performance, no. The reason why I'm gonna say no is because how would you grade Vergil Ortiz performance versus Boachuk? Mendoza on the way back. He working with Bob Santos, who works with Barrios and other guys. The guy who has his hair slicked back. He working with Bob Santos right now, training. He gonna be in the ring soon. I think they got a card coming up October. They talking about Danny Garcia coming back October. I don't know if that's gonna be uh, a certain card for PBC or that's gonna be a Golden Boy card he'll be on. I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know if it'll be Vergil Ortiz and Keith Thurman. But yeah, Vergil Ortiz, I always got respect for Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz want all the smoke. So trust me, when it comes to fighters who want to fight anybody, Vergil Ortiz is in my top 5. For sure, for sure. You said he got the W. Yeah, how would you grade yeah, but that's two different. You understand what I'm saying though? When it comes to resume, you said better than Boots. I'm just comparing the two. Boots ain't got no fight like that on his resume. And Boots ain't got no fight on his resume like that. Like even if I want to criticize Boots right now, Boots ain't never looked like that in a fight. Like Vergil was getting cracked. His face the last two fights have looked extremely bad. He's coming off 2 fights with no knockout. And he got dropped by the other guy who really. Let me see. Did Brian Mendoza get dropped against? Because Mendoza was getting beat up bad against Boachuk. Did Brian Mendoza get beat up bad against Boachuk? I know he got beat up bad, but bro, Brian Mendoza didn't even get dropped against Boachuk, bro. And shout out to the Butcher. Let me show you something real quick, Butcher. Um, Let me show you something, Butcher. Shout out to the Butcher. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm gonna be calling for that rematch with Vergil Ortiz and Boachuk too. Like immediately. Like he should be taking that fight now. He should be taking that fight right now. He getting a pass for that. He should be taking that fight right now. But look at this. Brian Mendoza, before I post this picture, I'm going to just say this. Vergil Ortiz got dropped twice by Boychuk, right? Brian Mendoza didn't get dropped in this fight, okay? He didn't get dropped. Before I post this picture, I'm about to show y'all. He didn't get dropped. Now look at this picture. And he didn't get dropped. And he didn't get dropped. Now, mind you, he didn't get dropped. So this man went from beating Brian Mendoza like this. Then he dropped Vergil Ortiz twice the next fight. And he can't get a rematch? That's a bad look. Butcher said show them rankings, Karen and Boychuk. You said the rankings. Karen and Boychuk is both from the Ukraine. So that's actually a very good comparison because and Boychuk has actually been knocked out before. Cold. By Brandon Adams. So he got dropped by a guy. So Vergil Ortiz got dropped by a guy who got KO'd by Brandon Adams. A lot of these guys couldn't even see Brian Adams right now. They're gonna use that Kurzakis loss to you said that show the rankings. Why would I show the rankings? I don't understand when you're saying show the rankings. I'm not trying to be mean or nothing. I ain't trying to be going at you. But what you mean by show the rankings? I don't understand that. What would the rankings tell me? What would the rankings tell me? Because Karen and Boychuk are both from the Ukraine. And from what I've seen, they're both Ukrainian royalty when it comes to boxing. So that's actually not a good comparison to make as far as Karen and Boychuk. They actually the same level fighter. It's not really a good comparison, to be honest with you. That's the same kind of fighter. Boychuk and Karen, same fighter. And Boychuk has been knocked out in America. No, Boychuk got stopped. I don't know if you know or not, Boychuk got stopped. He got stopped completely. During the pandemic, it was over. Yeah, he got stopped. Yeah, it's a difference between getting dropped and getting stopped. Getting stopped means you got knocked out. Yeah, he got KO'd. And then went to war with Vergil Ortiz. And he did to Mendoza what I just showed you. Ain't nobody asking for that rematch with Vergil Ortiz and Boychuk. I know what time it is. Yeah, Boots. All right, that's cool with Boots. But what about Boychuk? No, Boychuk don't deserve a rematch. That's why I don't want to see rematches in boxing. Don't nobody deserve a rematch in boxing more than him. But he ain't got a rematch though. It's a waste of time talking about that in boxing. Rematches. Who deserves a rematch more than the guy who dropped the guy twice and lost? Every other fight that happens in, They running back. You said Boots ain't fought out at 147 yet? Nah. Nah, he still got a fight coming at 47. I mean, at 54. He said, to be fair, it was his first and second fight at 54. Come on, PD, for real. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. Bruh, I don't give nobody a pass on that, bro. Nobody ever in boxing I would ever give a pass for going up any weight class in boxing. Ever. When other guys is fighting guys 70, 80 pounds more than them, people are saying these guys can't box. Like the way people are going extreme these days, they lucky they ain't getting called other names than what they getting called now. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not really upset that people think that it was. I'm just keeping it being with you. I'm gonna keep it 100. No matter how somebody feels about Vergil Ortiz or Boots, Vergil Ortiz last two performances, because his last performance looked like the one that Crawford had against Majamal. Everybody ain't bragging about that Majamal fight. His last two performances with no knockouts at 154. And the first guy he got dropped by twice got knocked out already. If that happened to Terrence Crawford, we'll be hearing about it. This is why these guys are going to get put in a bad position. Fedor going to end up stepping on some of these guys. I'm just keeping it a buck. Because Boychuk ain't stepping like Fedor is right now. They going to put them. What about Baccaram? Y'all forgot about Baccaram? Baccaram ain't Boychuk. Y'all going to put these guys in a bad position. I'm letting you know that now. I already seen why people were sitting up here saying, facts 903, Wilder was 70 pounds less than Zane. And when people look at Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua's resume now, they ain't got nobody over 260 on their resume. I just said earlier how everybody let Mikey Garcia jump 2 weight classes and patted him on the back for going 12 rounds. Oh, I ain't know he was gonna go 12, man. Good job. Oh, he went up 2 weight classes though. I done seen it before. At this time right now, if it was up to me, I would say guys just fight their own guys in their own country. And by the time or whatever, stable, whatever, platforms, promotional companies, these dudes ain't trying to fight nobody like that. If it was really smoked like that, dudes would be trying to see what Baccaram on right now. First thing I heard from him say was, I'm trying to see the guys at 54 and PBC. These guys ain't trying to fight nobody. They ain't trying to fight nobody. Ain't no way I got a phone call, turkey out of sheet call on my phone. And I'm trying to figure out what I got going on. Man, you crazy. These dudes don't want paydays. I'm telling you right now, though. Baccaram, Fedor, they are going to end up in a position where these guys they're not even going to be able to take off. People not really thinking about that. I'm going to be honest with y'all. The way my mind working right now, I'm not really thinking that much about Boots and Vergil Ortiz. No matter what happens between, not saying I'm not thinking about the fight. I want to see the fight. I'm saying no matter what happens if they fight, they still got to stay at 154 and make something happen. No matter what. People talking about Xander Zayas and one of these guys a good fight. Erickson Lubin dropped Fandora. He's not an easy fight. Like they can play what they can play around if they want to. 50. This ain't 2015, 18. These dudes, Turkey throwing that money around right now. They can try to run it high if they want to. But I already see the play. Brother, y'all see how fast 168 just got crowded after Benavidez just left? Benavidez just left 168. And now you got Shiraz showing up. You got the dude Janovic about to show up at 168. It's going to be the same thing with these other weight classes. It's going to be more and more guys showing up at 54. And then Charles Conwell's still there. You said Boots not fighting Ortiz. Boots don't take tough fights. Boots fight guys. Boots fight guys. If you know anything about Boots, he was fighting guys before he even professional. Before he was even in the professional ranks. Teofimo will tell you that. Even Teofimo said, yeah, man, at the tournaments, me and Boots was winning together. That meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to Teofimo that he was winning the same tournament as Boots. So that just lets you know what Boots was doing back then. Boots he fighting guys, but that's just the way the business goes right now. They're not putting no pressure on these guys. I can't put a pressure on a fighter to sit up here and say, hey, man, make sure that the zone set this fight up at a certain time. They got to make sure that these promoters, put pressure on these promoters. Everybody sitting around trying to be nice with these promoters and be their friends or homeboys. I'm seeing people talking about some, yeah, this is my favorite promoter. Like, when they start doing stuff like that? You said in 34 fights? Oh, yeah, I definitely have criticism about Boots now, if you know me. But you got to understand what I'm saying, though. I had the same criticism for Vergil Ortiz when he was sitting around trying to fight Stanionis 50 times and couldn't make weight. I had the same criticism. You understand what I'm saying? Same criticism for Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz has had one performance that I can look at and be like, oh, I'm proud of Majramov. That's it. This ain't nothing to I'm not going at him, I'm being real. He only got one performance that's good, Majramov. And the performance that he had was good. He did the same thing Terrence Crawford did the last fight. So when you come in here and tell me, oh, Vergil Ortiz got a better resume than Boots, he did the same thing that Terrence Crawford did against Majramov. Eddie Hearn said Terrence Crawford lost. Everybody else said Terrence Crawford went 12 rounds with a bum. And that's Vergil Ortiz's best performance, what Terrence Crawford did? Okay. That's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up. That's not a good look, dog. Trust me, I'm a fan of all these guys. But that's not a good look, bro. You can't run around and be like, Boots, Boots, Boots. And you got Bakaram, Xander Zayas. When Xander Zayas and Vergil going back and forth? Why is Vergil didn't say to Xander Zayas, hey, let's just go right now? Why is he setting up a fight with Keith Thurman and Xander Zayas is open and available right now? And I'm not picking a side. I mess with Vergil Ortiz the long way. I think he's cut from the cloth like Oscar De La Hoya. He's about to fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman ain't no trash fighter. He's about to fight Keith Thurman. So Vergil gonna have a resume, but I'm just saying. Xander Zayas right there. Y'all was going back and forth recently, right? So people can say the same thing about that. Like, oh man, you going back and forth with Xander Zayas. You ain't making that fight. Bro, they got smoke out here. All these dudes want to fight. But I'm just talking about what I can hold them accountable of. I can hold Boots accountable for saying certain things about Terrence Crawford in the interview that he said. That's what I'm on. Like, hey, well, you talking about Terrence Crawford like he Tiafimo or something. But then when it's Tank, you put respect on his name. Nah, we ain't finna do that. No, sir. I don't care what weight class you in. We ain't doing those. And then everybody putting respect on Canelo name. All these boxers respect Canelo. They always throwing respect on Canelo's name, no matter what. They do it so much that Canelo, when somebody don't respect them, he looks at everybody crazy. Like, did you see how that guy just disrespected me? He ain't supposed to do that. I'm Canelo. Nah, these promoters is they trying to see what they can get, bro. They know that Eddie was over there with Turkey, so they like, oh, well, Eddie was over there with Turkey, so. But you got to realize, Boots just got signed with Eddie Hearn. So when you Boots and you ain't made $1 million in your career, I don't want to count his money, but I think the first time Boots made $1 million was last year. And Ryan Garcia just made $20 million to go 12 rounds. So if you Boots and you like, bruh, Ryan Garcia just made $20 million fighting Rolly, I'm finna get my money. That's what I'm about to do. I'm gonna get my money first. That's why I signed with Eddie Hearn, because I want my money. And a lot of people don't know this too, because they're not in the business, but I'll tell people to look this up though. Eddie Hearn has nobody else right now. All he got is Boots. Last time I checked, Shakur Stevenson, a free agent, he ain't got nobody but Boots. Eddie Hearn he's not about to put Boots in the Vergil Ortiz fight right now. He'll do it next year, but all he has right now is Boots. Who else Eddie Hearn got right now besides Boots? That'll answer y'all question as far as uh the stuff that's going on as far as the business. And this is all allegedly, but I just want y'all to think about it. Who he got besides Boots? Oh yeah. PD, PD keep it 100 though. Yeah, PD keep it 100, dog. Yeah, PD my dog. He said Ortiz taking on Smoke and this dude discrediting him. That's crazy. No, Ortiz taking on Smoke now. No. Ortiz taking on Smoke. No, Ortiz taking on Smoke. We know that. Bro, to be honest with you, Ortiz is the reason why 54 got a boost. I know with Terrence Crawford being there, but once he went to 54, that's when 54 really got all the way where it is now. And then with Boost being at 54, he kind of fill in for Terrence Crawford's spot. But yeah, Vergil Ortiz still play his part, but at the end of the day, he can end up just like Tim Tszyu. He can end up just like Tim Tszyu. I just seen everybody last year saying about Tim Tszyu. What's up, Jaguar? You said Eddie have Bam and Andy Cruz. Yeah, but Bam, of course. I know he has Bam. But I'm talking about as far as with Andy, Bam's a smaller weight fighter. We're talking about somebody at the premium weights, at the weights that where the big cash come in, 47, 54. We talking about the real weight classes where guys make the money at. He ain't got nobody but Boots, dog. That's it. Jamal just lost twice. He has nobody but Boots. He still had Jamal fight anyway, so. But yeah, he ain't got nobody but Boots. He has Majimov still around, but that's about it, man. He can't throw Boots out there right now. He don't got Shakur. If Shakur would have had the Tank fight, that probably would have helped things. Andy Cruz right now, he's not even taking the Mirror Tire fight. Yeah, at this point, Eddie Hearn looking at it like, man, I done emptied the tank already, man. I done had Carter Ben jump out here. I done had Joshua jump out here. I just did the Shakur fight. That's the way he looking at it, allegedly. I'm just telling. I'm just telling you, because Andy Cruz ain't really getting no pressure put on him like that. So Andy should be the one who really has the pressure on him. He older than Boots, gold medalist. Since last year, I've been saying Tank should have fought that guy. Yeah. I like everybody at 54 though. I think all those dudes want smoke at 54, but it's just the way they're trying to line it up, man. I don't know. Certain things going on. I know that Tim Tszyu and Fundora fight was going to happen again because that's like a promise almost. Tim Tszyu fought him at the last moment, got the fight. Like, hey, I just want my second chance. People thought that Tim Tszyu was going to win the second fight because of the first one. But I just don't want Xander Zayas to run in these situations. Not Xander Zayas, but Vergil to run these situations like how they did Tim Tszyu recently. Oh, man, you good, man. The last performance you had, that was good. Don't change nothing up. Because the more people start hearing this, oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm good enough. And then they stop getting better. A guy like Terrence Crawford, they've been calling him horrible forever. So he going to continue to get better. Right now they criticizing him. So he going to have a lot of motivation going into the fight. But with Vergil, yeah, he going to be good at 54, man. If he fights Keith Thurman, he's going to be all right. I'm not really worried about who he going to fight. But I'm just saying, you can't do the same things as a Boots Ennis and then act like you don't know what's going on. They already said that they're going to try to schedule a super fight with him last year. Why not put some pressure on Bochuk fight? That's the only thing I'm kind of confused about. Because if I let that get past and I don't say nothing about that, ain't nobody going to say nothing. This man ain't finna give Bochuk no rematch. That's why I say I don't like rematches. Rematches is too selective in boxing. I like a clean, good rematch where you know the last fight was close. It was a good fight. Oh yeah, Paro went at the no limit. Yeah, he did a two. I think he did like a 2 or 3 deal fight with Shakur and Boots. Same kind of deal. Yeah, but Eddie, man, he should have did better with that situation last year. He did a good job last year, but he should have did a better job. He had some things where he could have been in a better position, but I don't know. I think Eddie got something up his sleeve though. I ain't gonna say it now, but I think he's gonna try to make a big signing next year that's gonna try to surprise a lot of people. I definitely can see that happening. He probably gonna have the biggest signing next year because a lot of guys switching sides right now. What do you talking about? Baccarat? Yeah, we got to see, man. I ain't like his fight against Koki, and then the way he fought, the way Tim Tszyu fought, you couldn't really see, what level he really at. You said Andy Cruz style wrong for Shakur. Yeah, I would like to see that fight, man. That's the fight. That's a good fight to actually talk about, Jaguar. That's a fight I actually want to see. Andy Cruz versus Shakur. I actually want to see that. That's why I said they should have went ahead and just fought the fight with Miritai and Andy Cruz, but I already knew they weren't gonna go with that fight. They want to wait till next year. It looks like. You said Shakur feet too slow to beat Andy Cruz. I don't think his feet or anything will be a problem. I think Andy Cruz will have trouble with that distance in the combinations because he likes to stand straight up a lot of times. The Shakur, he can shrink and stretch, lean back without really moving his feet. I think Andy Cruz will have problem with the body movement with Shakur Stevenson more than anything. Yeah, I think Tank could have got him, especially like around the Frank Martin fight. I don't know about now though. I think Tank could have got him around the Frank Martin fight. Probably even like last August, September, but right now I don't know. Andy Cruz looked better his last fight. I say Bozy doing a good job, man. I think Vergil Ennis is actually one of the most underrated trainers right now. People don't notice it, but he's getting guys ready just like Robert Garcia is. Because Jarrell Miller looked good his last fight, and he trained Jarrell Miller for the first time. He said, "Yeah, I don't got Shakur fighting Andy Cruz too much of risk." I don't think Andy want to go out there and do it. I mean, Eddie want to do it right now because if he would have went with that fight, I don't think Eddie want to do it because Shakur is not really in contract with him right now. I don't think Eddie want to do it. If he's in contract with him, Eddie be like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and go through with it." But no, he's not in contract with him. He ain't gonna try to make that fight. Shakur should fight Roach though. He should definitely fight Lamont Roach. He fight Lamont Roach, that would put so much pressure on that Tank Davis fight for that fight to happen. I'm telling y'all, Shakur fighting Roach will almost guarantee a Tank Davis fight. That's the only reason I want the fight to happen. Because you know Tank gonna want to find a reason to get in the ring with Shakur if people putting that pressure on him. If people put that pressure on Tank, be like, man, Shakur look better against Roach. That really made Tank jump in the ring with him. Yeah, Shakur, he said Shakur unfortunately showed you by not fighting Keyshawn. Yeah, that's what I was saying too, dog. Hey, Jaguar, that's some facts, Jaguar. I said the same thing. I said the same thing, Jaguar. Oh, you said Cordina Butcher? That could happen, bro. I can see Cordina. People will say, "No, he ain't big enough." It still could happen though. Yeah, when Floyd fought Zav, I was like, man, I can't believe these dudes fighting. And I was young and I knew that. I was like, this fight look weird. That fight still look weird to me. Yeah, but Shakur, I don't know, man. He got a lot of dudes he can fight, bro. Shout out to Rule Exposure, man. Everybody subscribe to Rule Exposure. Yeah, all he gotta do is fight Roach, man. All he gotta do. He fight Roach, that's gonna put pressure on everybody. See, what y'all don't realize is everybody want Roach to fight Gary Russell for that exact reason. They already know Shakur and Roach said they wanted to fight next. They like, yeah, put Gary Russell in the ring with him. Roach ducking Gary Russell. Roach ducking Gary Russell. Gary Russell called out Tank first. Like I said earlier, man, Tank could have had, because y'all know Hector Garcia was actually supposed to be Lamont Roach. Tank could have had Lamont Roach, Gary Russell as a backup, and Gary Antoine Russell as the backup. And the man went with Hector Garcia. Put that pressure on him with that Roach fight. But I think with Andy Cruz, the pressure with him is going to be Abdullah Mason getting the belt. I can see these people probably saying, hey, Andy Cruz need to fight Mason. He got a belt now. That's what they're going to try to do. I can see that play. Watch out for that play, too. The first name they're going to... And shout out to Jaguar, too, man. Bro said Taker going to never fight Roach. I mean, Taker going to never fight Shakur. Yeah, all he got to do is fight Roach, man. That's all Shakur got to do. That's why I ain't, bro, to be honest with y'all, that's why I'm not paying attention to no Teofimo stuff. This man already got on camera and said Roach could be next. They both ain't got no fight right now. Both at the same weight class right now. Just make it happen, man. And it's not going to be difficult because they don't have all those people around to get in between the fight right now. As far as I know, Shakur, still a free agent or something? It's the perfect time to make a fight with anybody. Yeah, he know what time it is with Gary Russell Jr. Everybody know what time it is with Gary Russell Jr. All of them dudes know. And I'm not saying it because it's a recent fight. I've always known it. That's still, like I said earlier, no matter what, when everybody says, Gary Russell ain't active and everything, bro, that's still Lomachenko's best win in his career. Don't ever forget it. That's the best win that Lomachenko ever got in his career. That's the reason why he was number one pound for pound. They know how good Gary Russell is. Don't let these people fool you. They know what time it is. You said Tank and Shakur never fight. They'll fight. It'll be like next year or early 2027. They'll fight, though. They're going to fight. They're stretching it out, though. I don't think they really want that smoke like that with each other right now. It got to be something that really happened for them to be like, you know what, I ain't messing with him. But yeah, they're trying to build it up, though, man. I don't think more so on Shakur's side. I think he's just fighting. But, with PBC and the people around Tank Davis, man, they want to build those fights up. But I will say this, though. This something I will say that's facts, though. The fact that Tank has fought guys like Isaac Cruz and everything else, that does help grow the sport of boxing, though. Because nobody really wasn't checking for Isaac Cruz before he fought Tank. But, bro, you did your job already. It's time to move on. It's time to start fighting them guys. Because I don't want him to get passed up. Because right now I see a lot of guys, they're going to start passing him up. Like Abdullah Mason got a lot of hype around him right now. And he's showing up. It ain't really hype. He's knocking guys out the same way everybody else doing. Yeah, they prize fighting. I think once Shakur, he was supposed to be on that prize fighting level last year because he was going to be the main event. Him getting hurt last year, that hurt a lot of things for his career with that hand injury. Because last year when Shakur was going to fight on the main event of Bitterbiv and Bivol, that would have put him on the next planet. I would have tried to fight with that hand. Yeah, he'll never have a chance to be the main event over Bitterbiv and Bivol. That would have been a perfect opportunity. I knew how big that was. That's why I was like, man, if he canceled this fight, it's going to hurt him a little bit. And it has. But I think that last fight was a pay that helped a lot. Yeah, Tank halfway retired, man. Tank want those real paydays. He don't want to be fighting the same type of fights he been fighting. He cool with the Roach fight, though. He was cool with that fight, but he want to stay active, though, in these big fights. If you look at Tank when he fighting his career, Tank usually fight 3, 4, 5 times a year in his career. He love fighting. So when he's not fighting, he gonna get in trouble. That's how it happens. He usually get in trouble when he ain't fighting. Bro, let me tell y'all something right now. Ain't nobody said this. If Tank Davis would have already had his fight with Lamont Roach set up in June, he would have never got in trouble with that girl. The fight would have already been over with. If he would have fought Lamont Roach in June, the fight would have already happened. These people are out here, they got him on the sideline hurting his career. Tank need to be fighting 3 or 4 times a year. I think that actually helps him. Him fighting 1 time a year actually makes him slower, fatter. He's not staying active. He's not staying sharp. Yeah, you can't fight Frank Martin in June and then come back in March. That ain't gonna work, man. They gotta do better than that. A lot better. I want him to have the same kind of treatment as a Canelo. If Canelo gonna fight 2 times a year at these set dates, well, hey, you need to do the same thing with Tank. Because I said recently, yeah, Canelo has a better resume than everything else, but Tank is building names when he fights people. Like when he fights guys, they become a star. So you need to start having him fight 3 or 4 times a year. So we ain't gotta wait 4 or 5 years for him to fight Shakur Stevenson. But you know, it is what it is. They'll find it out sooner or later. They'll realize sooner or later, man, we could have had Tank in the ring with Kambosos, Teofimo. They had Tank signed up to fight Teofimo after Tank fought Ryan Garcia. Man, the people that's in charge, they gonna say, hey, Teofimo, because Teofimo was at 140. He was like, yeah, I'll fight Tank. They get in negotiations. I think they gave Teofimo like a couple of $1 million, whatever. I think it was like 5 or under 5. It was like either 5 or under. They come to him like, yeah, we know you ain't fought at 135 in a minute, but how about you can take this rehydration clause? He like, no, I'm not finna fight him. So I can't even say nothing about him not fighting Tank because they threw a rehydration clause in there. This is after he fought Ryan Garcia. Like that June or whatever. Y'all can look it up. It was like June 2023 or whatever. Then that's when Teofimo started talking to Ryan. And they said, we're going to try to make the fight in February. That's what Teofimo said. Hold on, I ain't making no money. And then he said, hold on, if I win a belt every time, my contract renews itself. So every time Teofimo win a belt, like how he did against Josh Taylor, his contract automatically was renewing itself or whatever, allegedly. So after a while, when we seen him fighting bums, or people that was no names, you would consider bums. I don't call all of them bums. I'm just saying people call them bums. That was because he got some contract stuff going on. So now here we are with him trying to fight Ryan Garcia with the help of Oscar and can't get it done. That's why I said Shakur needs to fight Roach. Fight Lamont Roach. Put some pressure on Andy Cruz. Then you're going to fight Andy Cruz and Lamont Roach. I would tell Eddie Hearn right now, hey, let me fight Lamont Roach and then get Andy Cruz in the middle of the year next year or early next year. And they'll put some pressure on Tank to make this fight happen. And then I just beat the guy that beat Keyshawn Davis. So really, if Keyshawn, they'll put pressure on Keyshawn to come fight me. I know me and him homeboys, but that'll put pressure on him if he wants to smoke with me. He ain't got to do all that 140 stuff jumping around. I'm telling y'all. He ain't got to do all that. That's the best route he can go. The worst thing he can do right now is let anybody else get in the ring with Roach. He said to go fight Pacquiao when he's 50. Hey, PD said he gonna fight him when he's 50. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was thinking about that recently. I'm gonna put a poll up because I don't know. I want to see how many people actually think that Pacquiao can get Tank. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't think so. But man, Pacquiao got them instincts, man. He got them instincts. He knows when. I seen the Barrios fight. I was like, oh, Pacquiao could have got knocked down a few times. And it looked like Barrios was holding back a little bit. But then when I seen Barrios getting cracked with those combinations that he couldn't get no punches through in them exchanges, I was like, oh, no. Nah. Pacquiao, I remember what happened against Ugas. Yeah, Rigo fight down there. You said that's what the fight gonna be like with Shakur and Rigo versus down there. Jaguar crazy. I would make that fight happen though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it would actually be an action-packed fight because Andy Cruz, most of the guys he fight, if they don't swing, they're gonna lose. So he makes guys really risk it. Like if you gonna fight Andy Cruz, you gotta really swing. That's why with Keyshawn, all that trying to be calculated and in the amateurs, they like, nah, you gotta let your hands go. But as far as with Shakur, I say Andy Cruz because Andy Cruz, his offense is probably skill wise, it's gonna be top 5 at 135. And I think he has a lot more skill than De Los Santos too. He said he ain't stupid. Yeah, that ain't no Zepeda type of fight. And the Cruz really smart with it. That would definitely be a good fight though. I ain't trying to put no pressure on Shakur, but I'm just saying. Hey, Tank ain't around to make these fights happen. Hey, somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. I'm waiting on these guys to step up. I mean, somebody got to do it, man. Shakur, he's at the point now where he should be above the rest of these guys, like Andy Cruz, and he should already been fought those guys and moved on. Yeah, Keyshawn talking about sitting out a whole year. And the thing about Keyshawn is recently that he said he's not sure if he's gonna leave 135 or not. So you telling me you about to take a whole year off to get yourself together, and you're going back to 135? Possibly? Still thinking about it? Yeah, Shakur need to fight him. This dude, he's still trying to stick around the division. I thought he was doing all that because he's like, man, Shakur gonna stick around at 135 anyway, so forget the belt. I might as well just move up. But you do all that just to stick around, that's worse than anything, man. Yeah, he definitely capping about that Shakur fight. The only real fight I know T.O. was talking about was Ryan. That's why Ryan, it's like, I don't know what the media doing, but they put out that Ryan versus Isaac Cruz fight recently. Like, man, Isaac Cruz ain't talking about fighting on Ryan Garcia. The man was already lined up to fight Ryan Garcia last year. Yeah, Isaac Cruz is not about to fight Ryan Garcia. He said he's fighting at 135, 140, and he'll only go to 135 with Tank Davis. That's what Isaac Cruz said. And if anybody knows about Isaac Cruz, this dude hates fighters who take PEDs worse than anybody. He can't stand a guy who take PEDs. I heard that last year. I'm like, man, Pitbull kind of. Yeah, he don't play those games. Yeah, what was crazy though? Yeah, he fought Joel Gonzalez, which was wild. I'm like, this dude fighting. Then, bro, I'm be honest with y'all. The only reason why Shakur, I said he needs to knock out Zepeda. Bro, the way he was fighting Jamel Herring was like, bro, you need to be doing everybody like this. That's the only thing that made me kind of, I don't know. It's something about that fight where I'm just like, you know Jamel Herring now. You gonna beat a dude up like this, you know? But somebody you don't know, you ain't gonna beat him up like that. That's why the last performance, I'm like, bro, you need to do something like you did with Jamel Herring. That man was fighting Jamel Herring like he didn't know him. That's why when it's with the Keyshawn stuff, I'm like, yeah, I don't believe that, bro. But Keyshawn sounded like he was getting bucked during fight week with Shakur. I know he showed up recently to his fight, but sounded like he wanted to do something. You never know, man. Guys is hot heads. They might eventually fight each other's competition. Guys want to be the best. It could be something small that might make them want to fight each other, but it's so many names, man. We just want both of those guys to get past Andy Cruz at this point. I'll be okay with that. That'll show me something. But trying to fight Teofimo, that doesn't make any sense, man. It's too many names at 140 for that to be happening. And Shakur just said recently that he wasn't gonna leave 135 until he finished business. So him fighting at 140 don't make a lot of sense when I look at it. But if he doesn't know it though, he holds all the power at 135. Like everything that Tank could have did at 135, he needs to be looking at. Shakur fighting Gary Russell. That's something that could be talked about. Gary Russell said he would fight Shakur Stevenson. I'm pretty sure if Shakur Stevenson fought Gary Russell next, everybody and their mama will watch it. People will say, why would Gary Russell fight Shakur? That don't make any sense. That's Lomachenko's best win. If you can't get Lomachenko's best win. That's what got Lomachenko number one pound for pound. These dudes ain't thinkers, man. If I was a boxer right now, I'm not on pound for pound, top 5. I'm going to try to go fight the guy who got Lomachenko on number one pound for pound. That's who I would go fight. But the fact that he's not getting looked at like that doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, Gary Russell, he's trying to fight Roach. But he's already said he will fight Roach, Tank, Shakur, all these guys. But I never understood why people never value Gary Russell when he's Lomachenko's best win, man. Shakur should have took that fight. Trust me, he got options. That Teofimo stuff is cool. I will watch it. But, bro, you got smoke, though. You definitely got it. He definitely has it. But it's sad, though, that Lomachenko, when he fought Gary Russell was looked at as a very great fighter. Now the same people look at him as like, well, he's just a regular fighter now. Not having that belt, some guys not having that belt, it hurts you a lot. That's why I think that's why that Mark Metsayow situation, when he ended up getting that belt from Gary Russell, it hurt a lot of things around him. Because now, for him just losing to Metsayow with one arm, now he's not a priority. You got other names that's looked at bigger than that, like Cordina. Cordina's not a bigger name than Gary Russell. And I know who Cordina is. I like Cordina. People think Cordina trash. He's not trash. but he's not a name like Gary Russell. I'm telling you, it's a lot of things that Shakur can do in 2 fights that can put pressure on a lot of people. He can put pressure on the media. He can put pressure on the fans. He can put pressure on the fighters, on Tank, on other companies. I just think he's saying the wrong names right now. I think he's letting Tiafimo steal some of his glory right now without him actually knowing it. He letting Tiafimo kind of use his name right now. Tiafimo ain't got nothing going on, but because he lashing on and saying, "Oh, we in negotiations," or whatever, or they trying to talk, whatever he's saying, because I ain't paying attention to it. But he let him get a shine like that. Is he gonna get in the ring with him? No. He got to quit falling for that trap, man. A lot of guys, they got to realize sometimes, guys just do it back and forth, whatever. But sometimes you got to realize this is a trap. Sometimes going back and forth with a guy like that actually hurts you. Because they'll say, hey, you said that you was going to fight him. But then somebody says, I'm not in control of that. Oh, but you the fighter, though. You're supposed to be in control of this. But yeah, he definitely needs to make that fight happen. He said Cruz or Meritai or Schofield would be a good scrap. Yeah, that would be a good fight with Schofield. That actually would be a good fight. But yeah, they got so many names at 35. They gonna make it happen. But for some reason, something's telling me like they'll try to make Andy Cruz lean towards Abdullah Mason or something. Because Keyshawn's name is brought up with his, but who else? But yeah, and Schofield and Abdullah Mason, that's gonna be a good fight. They both are 19-0. When that ever happens, that's gonna be a good fight. But yeah, hopefully Schofield can get a belt by then. If not, they still got some guys down there that can compete with Schofield and other guys. I know Barancha, he done by now. I know he's still boxing, but at 135, he ain't gonna have no chance. Against Miritai, I had said some news a while ago about Miritai. It ain't really changed. I ain't figure out who name I had put out there with him. Because as far as I know, him and Andy Cruz is the mandatory. And so the voluntary he got. Yeah, everybody said Miritai is ducking Andy Cruz, but I don't know. I just don't think that fight's gonna be next. Eddie Hearn had already said a couple months ago that they was gonna let Miritai do his voluntary. Or he was gonna do the voluntary, whatever it was. And recently they was working on the fight instead of trying to wait. I guess Turkey Al-Sheikh was like, just go ahead and make the fight. Didn't make the fight though. That definitely hurts a lot of things though. That would have put Andy Cruz right where he need to be. And I think Miritai, if I was him, I would take the fight because he's been looking good his last couple of fights. He actually got a chance. Like, to be real, he been looking good lately. I know people been focused on Vergil, but another guy that's been really showing out lately is Miritai. He's been beasting lately. Yeah, brother, true. He got a chance to be better than Mikey, to be honest with you. Yeah, he that good. That's why I say 135, man. They gotta figure something out. I have no idea who he can fight though. I know they had the Dullier fight recently. Unless he fights somebody in house, I don't know what in house fights they have. He fought the Perez guy already. I don't know unless they have Baranchik. Yeah, people might not believe this. They could throw him in the ring with Baranchik, man. They can mess around, throw him in the ring with Baranchik. He already fought Tevin Farmer last year. I know Vergil at 35 now, but he ain't fighting in he's not fighting in America like that right now. I don't know. Knowing them, they might roll with a Diego Nunes or something like that. I think hold on, him and Diego Nunes already fought, didn't they? I'm tripping. Yeah, him and Nunes already fought, man. I'm tripping. Yeah, he ain't really got no options. They got Albert Bell out here. He got a fight coming up. Yeah, it's not a lot of options, dog. He gonna have to make something happen. Yeah, it's gonna be a lower level guy. It ain't gonna be a name we really know like that in that fight. I think it's gonna be another tune-up style fight. Then Miritai gonna move on to Andy Cruz. He got to because that mandatory is the clock is ticking on that mandatory. That's why Andy. I'm gonna tell you another thing too. I'm gonna just throw something out there for y'all too. And the reason why Eddie Hearn's really sitting on his hands right now is because that dude Giazov, the Uzbekistan guy, he's still a 147 mandatory for that Rolly belt. So don't be surprised. You can see Conor Ben possibly fighting for that belt. You can probably see a Boots. It could be a lot of guys that can fight for that belt coming up. That could be almost the same kind of fight that Madrimov and Terrence Crawford just had. Giazov versus Boots Ennis for a belt next year. Oh, Giazov at 47. I'm tripping, y'all. My bad. I'm still thinking about 47, bro. Still thinking about 47. But let me go back. But Giazov, actually, he can fight for a belt with Devin Haney next year. Also, Pacquiao. That'll be Pacquiao's mandatory if he still has the belt. If he's able to get past Rolly Romero and get the belt. But I think Rolly gonna try to get 2 more belts in before next year because that dude Giazov, who's with Eddie Hearn, he was supposed to be the mandatory for Stanionis before he fought Boots Ennis. That's when Boots got the belt. He was gonna fight next, but then they end up having an intern belt for Rolly and Ryan, and now Rolly has the belt. But yeah, I can see next year it's definitely gonna be some shakeup happening. Kid Austin versus Gary Russell would be a good fight. I think that would be a bad style matchup for Gary Russell, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that would be a bad style matchup. And I don't say that about Gary Russell Jr. a lot. But I think that would be a bad style matchup. Because Floyd Schofield takes chances, and a lot of guys, when they fight Gary Russell, they don't like taking chances. Even though they're great fighters. A lot of guys don't like taking chances, though. But I think Schofield, he'll take chances, and that's just dangerous. Who I got between Haney and Norman, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I'm going to be 1,000% sure with you. Sometimes I feel like Haney or Norman. To be honest with you, it's more confusing because I look at Norman like how Haney. I looked at Haney like a guy who coming into boxing who will fight any big name, who's calling out all the big names, who's getting in the ring. I kind of look at Norman the same way I look at Haney, so it's kind of difficult, man. To be honest with you, to see who's gonna actually win the fight. But I gotta see who underestimates who the most. I think that's how the fight gonna really get dictated because even though Haney is a specialist when it comes to got the best jab in the game, great boxer, but with Norman he got real power, and also he can box a lot better than people realize. He can box a whole lot better than people realize. I know when people look at it, it looks like he's all over the place. It doesn't look coordinated. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna take about 2 or 3 fights. But when you get to that third fight, after you watch him for the third fight, you're gonna realize, oh, okay, it's a lot of movement going on. He's not just in one place. Trust me, they'll see. A lot of stuff he's doing is calculated, but I don't know, man. That's a hard fight, to be honest with you. That's a yeah. I can, man. That's gonna be a hard one, man. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with that rule, but Brian Norman is a dog, man. They starting to realize that now, but man, he's knocking people out like I never seen before. Not at 147. Because the way Terrence Crawford was knocking guys out was just like he was just beating the crap out of him. Crawford wasn't even really going for a knockout. He just wanted to beat dudes up, punish them until they go. But Norman, he just getting you out of there. And he can knock you out. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. When Norman hits guys, they act like they can't box no more. They all over the place, grabbing, and it's a lot of guys that be grabbing him. He said knocking out who you talking about? Norman, who he knocked out? But yeah, a lot of guys, they when they be punching him, they be grabbing and a lot of stuff. Power, they feel the power. Trust me. Cause that one fight he had with Randall, I couldn't understand what was going on. I'm like, man, what is Randall doing? He felt that power from Norman. If you go look at the way that Randall fought against Norman, and you go look at the other fights, Randall is boxing, moving. He just fought recently, I think, a couple weekends ago. Yeah, you're right. He does, Rude. He does. He got to do better with that head movement. He do a good job putting that hand up. But yeah, he gotta get that head. He gotta get some head movement for real. He right about that. He gotta take his head out, sit in line. That's a fact. That's why I said that jab with Haney, it's gonna be there. The thing about Haney is he gotta make sure that he's disciplined and not hanging in the pocket too long. Because sometimes when Haney throws that right hand, he'll reach back. That's why with Norman with that left hook is kind of yeah, he can't bet not better than him right now. No. Not even. That's why I said too, Rule. I was like, nah. As far as outboxing him right now, nah, he gonna have to be able to clip him and stagger him or something. or go to the body. If I was Norman, I'd try to go to the body a lot more. Just throw that jab to the body. Any way I can exert my power to him without taking any kind of risk with Haney, just keep doing it. Because I think Norman is going to be more athletic than Regis Prograis was. And, he's more powerful, going to be able to take punches a lot better. But I think people underestimated Haney's last fight. I think he's a lot stronger at 47. And he's going to be able to do a lot of things in that weight class, man. I think 147 is going to be more of a natural weight class than people realize. So he's going to be a lot stronger. He didn't really show everything in that Ramirez fight, so. But Norman a dog, though. He definitely is. I think now people starting to realize, and he's only getting better, though. No matter what happened in the fight, Norman's still going to keep getting better. And I think that him taking this fight, if he wins the fight, that's going to scare everybody. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people don't want that to happen. A lot of people don't want that to happen. Because most boxers they'll rather get in there with a finesse puncher like Haney. Not saying that Haney's easier. I'm saying they would rather go in there with that than to go in there with Norman. Now, Haney not afraid to go in there. But other guys, absolutely. They know what time it is. They definitely know. That's why I was telling people last year. I'm like, bro, y'all can't really just. You gotta understand. If Boots is sparring a world champion like Brian Norman, that means he be fighting beast. That means he be practicing the sparring beast. That's not that's not supposed to be something negative, or they be discrediting Brian Norman. I mean, Boots Ennis themselves. It be fans of Boots Ennis that discredit Brian Norman, and that discredit Boots. If y'all would have said, hey, man, Brian Norman, one of the best fighters out here, people would have said, man, Boots in there sparring one of the best fighters in the world. You say you think Norman drunk off his power? Nah, not really. Norman, like Norman, De Los Santos, those guys don't really go in the fight just trying to rely on power. Even Rayo did that recently. I would compare him to like a Rayo when it comes to how they use their power. They don't go in there trying to get knockouts all the time. I mean, it might come, but fighters like that, they a lot smarter than just knockout power. I think Norman is a lot smarter than just his knockout power. I think he can really box, to be honest with you. I said that last year, but I'm telling you, I think he can really, really box. I think he's more of a boxer than actually a knockout artist. People see the knockouts, but the man can really box. He's getting better. Because I want to see the guy he knocked out last year. I want to see somebody fight that guy. And for some reason, that guy seemed like he's dangerous. They talking about that guy fighting Xander Zayas next at 54. Santion. I think Santion is a hard fight. Because he got stopped by Norman like that, they gonna try to write him off, and trust me, if that guy go out here and start stopping more people, that dude was like 34-0 or something like that. If he starts stopping more people, they're gonna be like, you know what? This dude Norman stopped the beast. Rule said Haney had a list of Teofimo duck, so Shakur was number 2. He should be next, right? Exactly. Shakur should be next. He definitely should be next. I don't think Shakur want to go to 47 right now and fighting on Haney. He'll say it, but I think a lot of that stuff was just, getting your name out there for real. I think Shakur would fight most of these guys he's talking about, but He can't lead at 135 though. I know people be wanting him to lead 135. If he leads 135, you can forget about that division. I know it's a lot more names down there, but man, it's already it's not a lot going on right now. That's the only reason I want Shakur to like take those fights at 35 because if he leaves, it's gonna be another reason why that Tank fight ain't gonna happen. People don't realize that, like, bro, Teofimo kind of in the way right now. Like, bro, Shakur fighting you at 40 ain't gonna help nothing. That's gonna have Tank never fight this guy. He gonna be like, man, he at 40 now. You think Shakur was lying? No, I think Shakur was trying to. He would have fought him. Shoot, the dudes, if they send a contract over, he gonna fight him. But Teofimo, he's doing some. It's more so Teofimo because, bro, you trying to get a fight with Ryan, but you're focused on Shakur Stevenson. Why are you Teofimo not putting pressure on Ryan to do a fight with them? But you putting pressure on Shakur Stevenson and going back and forth with him. Like Shakur, he'll fight Teofimo. That's why he said, yeah, I'll fight him. Because he's trying to get a belt in another division. He definitely not gonna turn that down. He's trying to make history. So he gonna get a belt. He's trying to get a belt at 140. And the way Shakur is, he'll fight at 140 and 35 at the same time. But yeah, I think they capping on the negotiations. And I think Teofimo really hurting himself in that situation. He definitely hurting himself. Because right now, Rolly finna possibly fight Manny Pacquiao. If Rolly get a fight with Manny Pacquiao, that man is gonna be a bigger star than Teofimo Lopez. He is gonna be known worldwide. Right now, people know who Mario Barrios is. He'll tell you. I bet Mario Barrios is getting noticed in places he never probably thought he'll get noticed at. He probably getting all kind of autographs and everything. The man just fought Manny Pacquiao in his comeback fight at what, 46? Pacquiao is. So everybody know who he is. And Rolly next. So really those guys just building their names up. That's how I say with Tio, man, he missing out, man. If he was gonna move to 47, you should have just moved up, bro. You could have fought Manny Pacquiao. You could have fought a lot of people already. But he ain't trying to make that move. Him and Ryan gonna end up in a bad situation. It's gonna be the only fight they can get at a certain point. Yeah, they need Turkey right now. Dana White finna make this power move early next year. Because ESPN, it sounds like ESPN trying to make this move with that Zuffa boxing that Dana White has right now. So yeah, Top Rank in a bad position. But Top Rank still got other apps they can still mess with and platforms they can go to. It's not gonna be ESPN, but they got to do a lot more work. Without ESPN, they're gonna have to do more big fights. Oh yeah, if he lose to Pac-Man, that's gonna hurt Tank's resume, bro. That's gonna hurt his resume bad. They don't know that rule. They think that beating beating Ryan helped Tank's resume. It actually don't, man, because Tank got interviews where he said Ryan was his toughest fight. Then he said Esau Cruz, and ever since then, both of them dudes lost, and that was just last year. So Tank said his toughest two fights is guys that already lost since he fought him. That's the bad part. That's why I said earlier the good part is he turned guys into stars. Bad part is he ain't fight nobody like that. And when people say that, they'll say, "Man, y'all tripping. He fight somebody." But this dude, the guys he fighting is losing. I mean, you can lose in boxing, but we trying to see guys fight the best. Shakur ain't losing right now. And Roach wasn't undefeated either. So a lot of these fights, it ain't no reason why you take them, but they happening. But yeah, he don't get active soon though. As far as with Tank, he gonna get left behind, man. Abdullah Mason, he got so much promotion from Keyshawn calling him out, then not fighting. And then Tank's coach sat up here and said Abdullah Mason is better than Shakur. So yeah, he definitely finna get some hype around him. Yeah. And then Plant got beat by Caleb Plant got beat by that one guy. Yeah, they be trying to hold on to these fights. Caleb Plant got beat up by that one guy, the Mexican guy recently. They better stop trying to hold on these fights and build up certain fights. I think PBC built up way too many fights. They got enough talent to where they can just go ahead and make the fight happen. Yeah, Barrios said he said spoon fed out the Ugas. Definitely. Yeah, we see that. We definitely see that. Yeah, 147 getting weak though. If Norman was in that 147 and Haney, you wouldn't be having nothing going on at that weight class right now. Yeah, you really ain't got nothing going on. I'm surprised, to be honest with you, when you look at 147, it's crazy. It's crazy that Haney and Norman is taking this fight because there's nobody else at 147, to be honest with you. They couldn't even really fight nobody. I know Barrios up there. They ain't really got nobody at 47, man. Yeah, Haney versus Norman actually saved that weight class. If those guys wasn't fighting, 147 would be a done weight class right now. It'd actually be the worst weight class in boxing. It would be worse than those smaller weight classes. That's why people gonna try to hold it over these guys' head, like, oh man, one of y'all lost. Man, ain't nobody trying to pay attention to that. You still gonna need these guys for another big fight. Yeah, you're right though. Whoever said that 147 earlier, I think PD said that. Man, this is the worst in 25, 30, 35 years, man. PD definitely right about that. This is the worst I done seen it. Because I think 54 is a younger division. I know you got Keith Thurman moved up. Besides the guys who just moved up, if you take those guys out like Vergil and Boots, man, this weight class still better than 47. Yeah, 54 where it's at right now. That's why I said we're gonna have plenty of opportunities for Vergil Ortiz, Boots Ennis. They're gonna have plenty of guys to fight. I'm gonna tell you right now, Boots and Vergil Ortiz got about 10 guys apiece they can fight. That's all knockout artists or excellent boxers. I'm telling you, you got Baccarat, Zayas, Fandor, you got Boychuk, Lubin, Thurman, Ramos. You got that Perez that just fought Zayas recently, Conwell, Taez. Man, you got a lot of people, bro. It's a lot of names on here. Trust me, they gonna build a fight up because they know after they have this fight with I'll just tell everybody this though. The reason why I know the Vergil Ortiz and Boots fight gonna happen soon, it's too many guys at 54. If they don't fight now, they'll never fight each other. It'll never happen. It's too many names at 54. Because by the time one of them take a loss or something, or in a situation where they got a belt, you're gonna have to fight somebody. Either one, a loss or a belt, gonna put them in a tough position. So yeah, they're gonna have these fights happen. It just look like everybody standing around looking at each other. They really ain't had Ramos in too many, big fights since the Lubin fight. Most of these people at 54 ain't really been at big fights yet. It just started to happen with Tim Tszyu and Fedor, Bakaram. I wouldn't say Zaya has been in a big fight yet. Ortiz fought Boychuk. Still waiting on Boots Ennis to fight somebody at 54. Kurzakis fought Brandon Adams. That was a big fight to me. Then they had a tournament with OTX. That was a big fight. You got a Mendoza in there. We was talking about earlier. Yeah, you still have some names, man. Fernando Vargas Jr. Oh, Francisco Varane. I think he's like Argentina. He's a beast. Yeah, they got some names, man. Then the dude, Darrell Val Saint, he's a beast. I think he was on Pro Box, wasn't he? Yeah, he was on Pro Box. Val Saint, he's a beast. 6'1". This dude 6'1". He's almost 6'2" at 154. 13 wins, 11 knockouts. Yeah, from what I seen, this dude a beast. Yeah, they got some names out there though. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, Rube. It ain't happening like that. At 47, yeah, it don't happen like that. It started to happen more when Keith Thurman fought Sean Porter, and yeah, they slowed down on that, man, a lot lately. You're right about that. But Rude, a lot of people don't see that because it be so many names after a while, you don't realize, man, this dude ain't fought nobody. I'm glad you say that. When you go back and look, because I know Sean Porter did. That's why some people go back now and they're like, oh, Sean Porter fought some guys. That's why we trying to tell these guys now, Rude, because on T.O. resume, bro, he ain't got none on there. The closest he got is Jermaine Ortiz. That ain't gonna work. He don't have any on his resume. And with Jaron Ennis, some people look at that the same way, even though he fought Custio Clay. And he's, even a guy like Ennis, a lot of Vergil Ortiz fans saying, hey, man, they want him to have a black name on his resume, like a elite black fighter on his resume. That's what they looking for. I don't think it's more so a 54. I think they want to see him fight an elite black boxer. 135? Yeah, 135, they bad at that. 135 the same way. It was kind of hard though because you had Lomachenko down there. Yeah, a lot of them guys that were dominating, they went it. But as far as with Shakur and Tank and Keyshawn, yeah, that's going on. That's definitely going on. We should have had that going on a lot more because we would have had that Spence fight earlier. That's why I was telling people earlier about that, man. If Spence and Crawford would have fought earlier, they would have already had a chance to knock off Mir Khan and Kell Brook. They don't want that happening though. They do not want that happening. These divisions starting to really get to where we can see who the best though. We know who want the smoke now. That's why I said this year the ducking stuff is going away, man. It's not really a real narrative. Like, bro, you gotta put pressure on your promoter at the end of the day as a fighter. That's why I tell a lot of people like Crawford, when he's making these fights, with or without Bob Arum, it's not easy like everybody think it is. Now they starting to realize that when you see Turkey Al-Sheet show up, and it's a certain group of guys working with Turkey, and the other group of guys, they just in the background. And a lot of fans don't want to see guys like Ennis or Vergil in that situation where your name get mentioned the same way as a TO, or as far as not fighting guys. But yeah, they're not because let me tell you, to be honest with you, a lot of people don't like that you said that. As far as at 135, black boxers don't fight black boxers, but they ain't let Tank Davis get in the ring with Gary Russell. They ain't let Tank Davis get in the ring with Tevin Farmer. You know, so a lot of people not gonna like that you said that, rude. But did Tank Davis fight Tevin Farmer? Why Tevin Farmer fight Raven Muritai, William Zepeda, Floyd Schofield? Should have fought. And imagine if he would have fought Tank already. We would have known, oh, Tank did better than Zepeda. Oh, he fought Tevin Farmer better than Muritai did. We can't even see that. So yeah, that absolutely is true. Anthony Joshua didn't fight Wilder. Yeah, if you have a boxer who has a belt and the other guy can't fight him, for any reason it is, this ends up happening. That's why I say right now, Teofimo Lopez hasn't fought a black boxer. How is a black boxer gonna get an opportunity to fight him if he doesn't fight any black boxers? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just calling these guys out. And it's not even a real topic. He's really like, I don't know how to explain it. He's really like making a joke out of it. Like, people will sit here and listen to me call out black boxers, but I won't fight them. Duh. You know I won't. But you're going to listen to me call them out over and over. Yeah, they definitely put pressure on them because of that. But the crazy part is, Rude, he the only one though. And that was because of us though. You know, people that was online and in America, you know, in America, I told people that a long time ago. Bro, all these other countries trying to compete with us and all the other stuff, bro, y'all gotta hold y'all fighters accountable. If Tank Davis was Mexican, if he was Japanese, if he was from the UK, they'll be like, nah, he good. He doing what he's supposed to. He good. They ain't earned nothing. So really, if Tank was in another country, his resume probably worse than what it is. Over here, we put pressure on our biggest names. because we want to see the best. But a lot of other countries, they don't do that. They don't understand that's the secret to everything. Not kissing dudes' butt after they get stopped and talking about, well, he lost because of blood. That's how you end up destroying your country in boxing. But when you get out here and say, hey man, we got a guy like Lamont Roach out here, we got a Shakur Stevenson, you need to fight these guys. We got Gary Russell. Why don't you fight these guys? That's how in America we make boxing better. I don't know about any other country, but we make sure that our best fighters fight the best. All this stuff about making sure dudes get paid, I ain't never understood another man making sure another man get paid unless they in business together. What does that have to do with you? It's so many people around you that need to make sure they get paid. Why are you making sure a boxer gets paid? I don't understand that. I ain't never went to an NBA game and said, man, let me make sure LeBron got paid tonight. I ain't never understood that. So all this making sure somebody get paid or something like that. Well, guess what? While he getting paid, I'm losing money watching no-name fights. So we losing money, they making money. And then another way I'm losing money is it ain't straight up and down fights. Dudes is coming in there flawed and on all kind of stuff. You can't even have a fair bet now. But yeah, they don't understand that. They don't understand that when Lomachenko has hung it up, and the best name he has on his resume is Gary Russell. And these people, they'll probably do this. They'll probably just say, you know what? Since Lomachenko is Gary Russell's best win on his resume, we ain't finna let nobody fight him. How about that? Because the way it looks like that. That's the way it looks. It looks like nobody wants to give Gary Russell a chance to fight anybody else because of that other fight with Lomachenko. But if y'all remember, Lomachenko got a lot of credit for that win. A lot of credit. That dude, Mark Messial, him too. But yeah, man, they got to change that ASAP, though. They really do. I hope by the time when Tank turns 31, I hope next year he has 2 or 3 fights. And they're talking about some Shakur Stevenson situation, because if not, they hurting his legacy right now. And I'm surprised that Tank Davis fans ain't really saying nothing, because they making sure that Canelo resume good, but then when it comes to Tank, y'all don't care who he fight. So let me get this straight. You a Tank Davis fan, and you want to make sure that Canelo have a good resume, but Tank, you don't care who he fight? Bro, when I was watching Floyd, I said, man, Floyd need to fight somebody. Floyd fought Canelo, I said, nah, this ain't it. I said this. Me. I said, nah, this ain't it. Floyd was boxing when I was in elementary school. And I'm watching him fight Canelo like, nah, bro, I watched all your fights. This ain't it. This dude ain't even on your level. Why is he in the ring? But you know what's crazy about that, though? People say Canelo wasn't ready. He was gun shy. It was too early. But they don't never give Floyd the credit for actually picking out or choosing a fighter like Canelo. Because when Canelo was in that same position, he didn't do it for anybody else. He didn't do it for Benavidez or nobody. But those same fans would be like, yeah, well, Floyd, he ruined boxing. Yeah. If you say him fighting Canelo did it, yeah, well, okay. Include that too. See, when they say Floyd hurt boxing by picking money fights and stuff, they don't never bring up that Canelo fight. Why they can't admit that if you think that Floyd ruined boxing by the type of matchups he was taking, why y'all don't criticize Canelo and Mayweather fight then? I'm telling you, these people are extremely biased out here. Extremely, at a whole nother level than people realize. They in protection mode so much. These people actually, you'll have somebody like Benavidez Senior recently come out and say, yeah, these Tom and Jerry fights, him and Canelo and Crawford ain't finna put on no good fight. So do you respect what Canelo did against Floyd Mayweather? What about Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo? That wasn't no super exciting fight. What about Canelo versus Floyd? Who fought was that with that fight was born? Why did Canelo have a long career after putting on a performance like that? You got dudes talking about Tom and Jerry fights. These dudes can't even criticize past fights that already happened. They trying to criticize a fight that ain't even happened yet. I ain't never heard no girl say, woo, I can't wait to Canelo fight. I ain't never heard no girl say that. I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. I don't see no females out here checking for no Canelo like that. I ain't never heard no female say, man, I'm finna check for that Canelo fight this weekend. I ain't finna do nothing. These girls be like, man, Caitlin Clark playing this weekend. I'm finna watch her. That's what's going on. But that's what really started all this stuff, though. When they start making excuses like that, like, oh, we're just going 12 rounds with Floyd and losing every round. Yeah. They celebrated that. So these people ain't got no standards in boxing. Let's keep it real. That's why I'm bringing up the Vergil thing, because this is like Canelo versus Floyd all over again. Canelo go do the same thing Floyd do, but the people who criticize Floyd, well, I don't like when Floyd do it. But Canelo, yeah. Canelo drinking, partying posting it online, yelling at DJs and everything else. Playing golf the day after getting beat up and losing. That man ain't say, let me get back in the gym and get better. Man, I'm finna go play golf. I'm about to go play golf. I ain't got time for this. It's just your mentality. You just can see certain people's mentality. I can see Terrence Crawford losing the fight, then saying, you know what, the next day I'm gonna be out there on the golf course. That's why no matter what people say about the Crawford and Canelo fight, Crawford just built different. When Crawford look at his mama be like, man, you better not lose. You finna lose to this guy? Canelo, so that's Crawford mentality. Canelo mentality is, yeah, I'm going to play golf tomorrow. That man said it and went and did it. Told them folks out, man, I'm playing golf tomorrow. I ain't worried about this. This ain't nothing to me, man. It's just a bibble fight. It's just a fight. So that mentality, I don't really like that. Carrying guys, then admitting that you carrying guys. Canelo don't got that killer instinct like everybody thinks. You can't carry a guy in a fight, then admit that you carried a guy. Then everybody say, yeah, but when he fight the best, he gonna stop him. Nah, that ain't how it works. You don't turn boxing on and off. Doesn't work like that. Even like a regular civilian or us in the chat fighting on the streets, we ain't gonna be able to fight somebody serious and then the next fight, well, I'm gonna just hold back. And this somebody you ain't never been in the ring with, man, please. I'm not finna hold back against somebody in the street that I don't know. Why would I do that in the ring against one of the best? So yeah, he been pumping the brakes. Even Robert Garcia said it recently. He was like, Canelo don't really need to knock people out. He don't want to go through wars. Then you had another Mexican trainer that was from Mexico saying that Canelo needs a war. He needs 1 or 2 wars to be considered one of the greatest in Mexican history, or the greatest. He needs 1 or 2 wars. I don't know what a war is, but that's what they asking for. Yeah, I know he wish he could have fought Floyd. He ain't gonna say it out loud, but yeah, a lot of guys. Hey, Rue, a lot of things that people don't know is I'm gonna throw this out there, and I hate to say it. I don't really be going in on him like that, but I hate to say this, but Lomachenko is a guy that actually ducked Terrence Crawford, and I don't care what nobody say. Lomachenko ducked Terrence Crawford. That's the first person who ducked Terrence Crawford. Lomachenko ducked Terrence Crawford. When Lomachenko turned professional, he was already weighing 135. When they asked Lomachenko, hey, who you think the best? Terrence Crawford. Years ago. This was like before the pandemic. Oh, Terrence Crawford, the best fighter. Number 1 pound for pound, Terrence Crawford. Yeah. So Loma could have already fought Terrence Crawford at 35. People don't understand. When people look back in history, they're going to realize, man, it's a lot of dudes that ducked this dude. Because Loma didn't want to fight at 135, he went to 130. And everybody said, oh, he's too small. That man was at 130. He did not want to fight Terrence Crawford at 35. He did not. The dude Matias was at 140 the same time Crawford did. Crawford even said, oh, I just watched your fight, man. I like what you were doing. Gave him some props or whatever. He didn't want no smoke with Terrence Crawford. He was right there. So it's a lot of fights Crawford could have had that people don't know that's champions right now. Big names and champions. And Hall of Famers that could have fought this guy. They didn't want no smoke with him. I'm telling you, they did not want any smoke with this guy. So with Canelo, that's the only person he really could fight at this point. I know people gonna bring up other names, but this man been boxing for like professional, man, for a while now, man. Almost two decades. If he was running from somebody, we would know right now. But I think a lot of things that people say about him, it's just they still learning about him. It's cool. But if Floyd was knocking people out like this, I had to say this to myself recently. I said, man, hold on. I was confident in Floyd when he was boxing. For some reason, I just didn't think he'll lose a fight. The only fight I was nervous about was Zab fight. But with Floyd, I was like, man, I didn't think he'll have any trouble. Terrence Crawford knocked guys out more and has more power. And he does everything that people said they wanted Floyd to do. But he doesn't get the same kind of, he doesn't get more praise. People always say that we have a guy come in that does the opposite of what Floyd Mayweather does. We will celebrate him in boxing. And what I've learned since I've been covering boxing is people don't want another, they don't want a Terrence Crawford. They want another Floyd Mayweather. And I'm not just talking about black fans. I'm talking about all fans. Even the fans that don't like Floyd. They want a guy like Floyd they could point at and be able to, say things about. But that's why they're focused on Bruce Ennis right now. Because they know with Terrence Crawford, you can't really say anything about what he's doing right now. How you gonna criticize Terrence Crawford right now? What's the best criticism they got recently? Oh, he's on PEDs. Okay. You actually mess your reputation up like that because you said that didn't matter last year. I would have left that conversation alone. But with Terrence Crawford, they know, man. Hey, hey, look, that boy Rude crazy. He said Lomachenko would rather go to war and fight for his country than fight Shakur too. Yeah, I think Shakur would beat the brace off of Loma. I think he would have. I think it would just been a bad style matchup. I don't think Loma was trash. Maybe if he would have caught Shakur at the right time. But the one person I was confident that Lomachenko would have got was possibly like a Keyshawn or something. But yeah, that fight should have happened. But yeah, he's done now, man. Out of the sport. That's crazy. That man retired before as soon as Turkey showed up. Man, I would have got one Turkey payday. I know they say he had an injury or whatever. Bro, there's plenty of guys that got injuries. Like I said, Gary Russell fought Mick Sayout with one arm. For a Turkey payday, you gonna fight. Yeah, that's funny. He said he ready to go to war with Ukraine and fight Shakur Stevenson. But what I was hearing was Zepeda though. I'm gonna tell y'all, not Zepeda, but I'm gonna tell y'all what Vergil was saying earlier about Canelo. Vergil was talking about how Canelo he sparred him recently. And he was saying how he couldn't move Canelo. He hit him with his best shot, and Canelo was like, "That's it." Said Canelo got a chin, man. He said Canelo has a chin. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, he said he barely moved him, man. Couldn't move Canelo. Oh, shout out to Pooh. What's going on, dog? Shout out to Pooh the Kid TV. Yeah, man. I'm just doing this for y'all, dog. I'll be doing this for y'all, man. I know a lot of people don't understand, but I just try to do this for the fans out there. So I don't want people out there um, having the fans yelling about crazy stuff in boxing. It's not true. It's a lot of stuff. They put out news twice at the same time. Like right now, they got Tiafimo versus Ryan. Then they got Shakur versus Ryan. I mean, Shakur versus T.O. So sometimes I just try to find out what's really going on. That's it. I don't want people having to run around and just arguing about nothing that really don't matter. Because a lot of fans get mad when that happens. And then when they find that out, they don't want to mess with the content creator no more. And sometimes content creators, they'll say, "Why are these guys attacking me?" They feel like God, people don't like to be lied to. That's one thing about me. I'm not gonna lie about any news. So that's one thing I know about YouTube. I've learned people don't like to be lied to. Especially in boxing. Boxing has way too much going on right now. Then it's getting serious. We got too many big fights going on. People want to hear real news. Yeah, he a known one. And to be honest with you, that would have been a better reason why he would have fought Benavidez. If I was Canelo, I would have said, "Hey, man, let me get him before all this testing go on." If he was already doing it, but bro, you put yourself in a bad position now. But I heard that he was getting tested 24/7 since. Not since. They said that when he fought Golovkin the second time that he was on 24/7 drug tested since then. But the only thing they did was raise those computerol levels. But they say he was 24/7 365. They don't got him on the website as that though. So it's not really valid. It's just hearsay. Yeah, man, they be hurting his career like that too, bro. They starting to realize it now. Like, man, we hurting his career like that. You are. You really are. Gary Russell still look good. Gary Russell looks good at what, 37? 37 years old. Still looks good at that weight class. And then he moved up to what, 135? That's why people starting to realize it now. They seen how good Gary Russell looked recently. They're like, man, it's a lot of guys who could have fought Gary Russell. I'm like, man, I told y'all. And Tevin Farmer. I don't like that these guys let Tevin Farmer fight Zepeda, Muratai, and all these guys. And he didn't fight like Tank Davis. Because now when you look at their resumes, they're going to get credit for fighting Tevin Farmer. And that's going to be a big name on their resumes. Actually, might be the biggest right now. Even with all the losses he got. This man been fighting a lot since the zone started. Fought on almost every platform, too. Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. People sometimes, it's a lot of people who like Boots on my channel. They know I call it down the middle as far as what's going on. Like I said, man, Boots, all these guys, I just call down the middle, man. I don't try to pick too many sides. Sometimes I get human a little bit, but I pull myself back. But yeah, they got to call down the middle, man, because it's new too. Because boxing has never been in a position where they had a turkey out of sheet, super fights like this. So it's gonna be hard for people to just call it down the middle each time. They're not really practicing doing it, so they're just gonna throw stuff out there. And it's so many big fights, like I said, people gonna start to catch on. It's not gonna be a good look. Yeah, they gotta do better though, because they're not really helping a lot of these guys' resumes. I just don't want to see Tank Davis, because I feel like right now a lot of people is on his level as far as his resume. Him being out since the Ryan Garcia fight, and him only fighting Frank Martin and Lamont Roach, it seemed like the boxing game let everybody else catch up to him, if that makes sense. Because Tank, he was fighting over and over and over and over and over. Now it's like the boxing game letting everybody catch up to him and putting him on an even playing field with everybody else. So him not actually getting pressure put on him to fight people, it's not just him. People look at, oh, y'all pressuring Tank. No, we're pressuring the people behind him to guide his career, because they're in control of his career. They can have his career look like Kambosos, or they can have his career look like Canelo. And right now they're trying to make it look like Kambosos. They gotta understand that, man. If they don't put pressure on these promoters to make Tank fights bigger with bigger names, he's gonna be left out. And right now he's left out. Yeah. But I'm saying though, Tank is the biggest name in America as far as uh we know. As far as right now, Tank is the biggest name in America right now. And with that standard being set with him, that's hurt everybody else. Now everybody else feel like, oh, if I just jump in there with Eastside Cruz, that's a big fight. No, that's a big fight because Tank made it a big fight. But a lot of guys, oh, I just do what Tank did. He fought this guy. Let me fight this guy. So yeah, they using that to kind of. That's why the standard got to be set high with Tank. If it's not set high with Tank, he's the standard. Canelo's the standard. That's why when Canelo starts saying, I'm gonna do whatever I want, that's when all the other boxers like, okay, yeah, me too. Yeah, standard definitely got to be set from the top down. If it doesn't, it's not gonna change. Because you can say all day about a prospect, but if the guys who the face of boxing is doing whatever you want, the prospect's not gonna care about. He's gonna say, hey, you celebrating Tank for doing what he's doing. I'm gonna go fight the same guy. Yeah, so that's why it has to be called out from the top. That's why people don't like it. But hey, that's Tank resume though. Like I'll give y'all an example right now. I said all that stuff about Lomachenko. People said I was hating. If you pull up Lomachenko's resume right now, the best name he got is Gary Russell. That's his best win. People will say he fought Teofimo Lopez. His best win is Gary Russell. Yeah, so without that Gary Russell win, I don't even know if he get in the Hall of Fame for real. Just that one fight. And that's a real question too. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. If y'all look at Lomachenko's resume right now, I'm gonna ask y'all a real question. If y'all look at Lomachenko's resume right now, without Gary Russell on that resume, is he a Hall of Famer? Is that a Hall of Fame resume? That's why I say at the time, yeah, his resume looked good. But now when you look at it, it's like, nah, it don't look good like that. You ain't really got a good resume like I thought. Nah, PBC been putting on some they've been picking it up, Pooh. You right about that, Pooh. Pooh right about that. They've been picking it up. They actually had the best cars last year, Pooh. That well, I don't know. They had some of the most exciting cars. And then a lot of their fighters was fighting on that Riyadh season with Terrence Crawford. Yeah, you right, Pooh. And then they had Morel and Benavidez earlier. Lamont Roach and Tank. Yeah, PBC. They've been doing they putting on some good fights. Tim Tszyu versus Fedor last year. The Pacquiao card was good recently. I think PBC had the best undercards. Then they had Stephen Fulton on the undercard last year with Canelo. Then they just had Gary Russell on the undercard. Well, prelims. My mistake. Prelims. Those probably the most talk about prelim fights I've ever seen in my life. So already PBC got the most talked about prelim fights I've ever seen. They just put Stephen Fulton on prelim and Gary Russell. I thought it was a bad idea, but it actually worked because they had people tune in more earlier, and people talked about those fights like it was on the main card. We had Caleb Plant and Rolly fight after Stephen Fulton, but his fight was talked about more than their fights on that Canelo and Berlanga card. So yeah, they did their thing as far as setting it up. I give props where I give credit now. It's just as far as the selections of fighters, what they doing. I'm like, bro, why did y'all? Yeah, he beat Russell. Yeah, he beat Russell. That was his only win that really. That's what put him on pound for pound. To be honest with you, because he already had a loss, but that's what really got him in the door. But you would think that since Gary Russell fought Lomachenko, that everybody would say, "Oh, well, let me fight Gary Russell then." Man, them guys wasn't trying to fight Gary Russell. Y'all see, they're trying to age him out now. He still look good right now. A lot of fans were surprised, like, man, he looks good still in the ring. He's always looked good in the ring. They just put him in the background. But then you got guys like Steve Claggett fighting Jermaine Ortiz and Teofimo Lopez, and Claggett have fought a few guys already. Claggett have fought probably bigger names recently than Gary Russell. Yeah, so I never understood it. Yes, yeah, Pooh, yeah, that's facts. Yeah, they try to include that amateur background. That's why I was saying, man, they gotta. You can do that with a lot of fighters though. Shoot, Boots got a good amateur background. A lot of guys, he ain't no gold medalist or nothing, but he got some names on there. I know some guys that ain't got no medals, but they got some good names on their amateur background resume. But yeah, I want to see that though. But yeah, I just think in some ways PBC they did okay as far as that, but they aged out a lot of their own fighters trying to build up certain things and could have went a lot better. Right now, right now it's not good though. When you got Charlo and these guys on the shelf, bro, that's a red flag, man. Especially when I seen, I'm gonna tell you what upset me the most though. When I seen Jermell Charlo's last fight, I'm like, bro, his legs not even there like that no more. This man ain't been in no, he ain't took no damage like that in the recent years. But for him to be sitting out so long where his legs aren't there anymore, man, they dropping the ball, man. I mean Jamal Charlo, not Jamel. I'm like, man, y'all dropping the ball, man. Both Charlos just turned 35. Most of their prime years, they've been fighting once or twice a year, and then the other years they've been sitting out. Then you got Roach, who's just now getting involved after the Tank fight. He did fight Hector Garcia, but yeah, they still negotiating. Ortiz dad said they negotiating for that Thurman fight right now. He didn't say Thurman, but he said Ortiz finna have a fight with a guy that's a bigger fight than a guy than Boots. With a name that's bigger than Boots. That's what he said. He said the next name that Ortiz fight is gonna be bigger than Boots. So that's definitely the fight they're talking about right now. They was gonna kick the tires on that Jamel Charlo fight, but I think they kind of pulled back from that. I don't know what the scenario was on that because they say Charlo's still champion in recess. I don't know how that would have worked out. But yeah, Tank, that recent fight that got canceled with him and Roach, man, they had some fights on that undercard. They had Ray Vargas. Telling you, man, a lot of these fights these dudes be pulling out of, it really be messing stuff up. It's really messing a lot of things up. They got to make a lot of these fights have already been planned out, and now with Ryan pulling out, they had a whole card set up where they was promoting the Ryan and Haney fight. With him pulling out, that's not gonna work. And then with the Teofimo situation, that ain't working. So they got to start making new fights now. That's why Ortiz is talking to Thurman right now. All the fights they had set up this year, they gonna have to redo them. But yeah, this gonna be a big fight for Ortiz though. He needs to fight like Thurman. That's gonna be a classic fight too. Thurman ain't been in the ring with a guy like Ortiz that's really gonna box you the way that Ortiz will. I think that's gonna be a big fight for Ortiz. He definitely gonna be the favorite going into the Boots fight if he's able to get that Keith Thurman win. So really, it's good for him. He gonna have leverage. Probably gonna come out last. Yeah, so really, he can leverage just going into the fight. I know it's a turkey fight, so it really don't matter, but yeah, he's still gonna have a little more experience going to that Boots fight, anyways. Then you're gonna have a big fight where you can fight Thurman and Boots. It's not really a situation to be mad at. I'm not gonna lie. If I was Vergil Ortiz and they say, "Hey man, you ain't gonna fight Boots, but you are gonna fight Thurman," I'm not really gonna be mad at you. I'm like, yes, I'm kind of cool with that. Yeah, he did, bro. Bro be going in. Well, he was doing that before the Tank fight, though. I ain't gonna cap. He was doing that before the Tank fight. Cause you know Roach got a brother at like 115 or something. And they was doing like a whole tour last year when they fought on Pro Box, when they fought in DC. Yeah, Roach be moving like that, man. They just got that attention on the cameras on him now. But yeah, he always moved the same way though. Yeah, he always moved the same way. It's just that attention on him now, so people see him and they notice him a lot more. But shoot, they gonna have to. But Roach's little brother, he a dog too. He really gonna be a beast. I think he one of the best prospects right now in boxing. But that's really who I've been checking for recently. His little brother. He gonna be a problem. So yeah, they're gonna have another Roach to worry about after Lamont. But yeah, Jordan Roach a problem. And he be talking that talk too. Pooh say he on 1,000. Pooh say, hey, when I seen that picture of him drinking that beer at that Washington hockey game, I was like, yeah. What was that, the Capitals game? I was like, yeah, Lamont Roach on one now. Yeah, but he's still a champion regardless, though. Like the way I look at it, he like already a champion, so he just getting his celebration on. But when he did that DC game, I was like, yeah, he going in now. Well, that picture too funny. I see that picture on Twitter. Yeah, I like Roach though. Like Roach a dog, man. I told everybody though that hey, Roach going 12, he might win this. I was like, beware. Yeah, when he said when he had this picture, I was like, yeah, he going in now. They like, man, fight Gary Russell. I want to see that fight though. I will watch that fight. I ain't turning down no good fight. But he said he'll fight Gary Antoine Russell. Man, let's have a. Would anybody like to see Gary Antoine Russell fight Roach though? I didn't hear nobody say, hey, they need to make that fight. I would actually watch that. If he get in the ring with him, he get in the ring with him. It is what it is. Size or not. He said he'll get in the ring with him. He said he want to go to 140. But Gary Antoine Russell got a mandatory lined up with Hiroka. That might be next. That fight might be next. So I don't think he can even fight Gary Antoine Russell next. Yeah, so that's why that fight can't happen. Yeah, he need to go ahead and just fight Shakur Stevenson. I will make that fight happen and move on. Put some pressure on Tank. And if Roach was able to beat Shakur Stevenson, people ain't think about this, but if Roach was able to beat Shakur Stevenson, I'm just saying, throwing this out there, that would put Tank in a good position, man. Because then Tank can what? Go back, rematch Lamont Roach, and then put the pressure on Shakur to make the fight happen. Because it seems like guys are trying to put pressure on each other. And that's the only way you can really do it. Find some common opponents. That's what we want to see in boxing. We want to see guys fight common opponents. That's why Vergil Ortiz fought Majramal. Yeah, we just want to see common opponents in this. When they got that Grand Prix coming back on, I think it's this weekend. Hey, let me check something real quick. Let's see when they had that Grand Prix coming back on with Turkey on the sheet. Just trying to see when the schedule is. I think they in the quarterfinals. Let me get the data on this real quick. When are these fights gonna happen? Fight calendar. I don't know. I don't see any dates. I have to look it up. I'm pretty sure I'll find it when it comes back on. They say 3 days to go until. Okay, so the Grand Prix is gonna happen in 3 days. All right, bet. So if y'all want to watch the quarterfinals of this, definitely can, because I think some of these guys gonna be fighting the Riyadh season next year. They're gonna be involved in something. Yeah, a lot of these fighters, you're gonna end up seeing these guys. If you want to get an early look on some big time fighters, and these guys is pros too. These ain't no amateurs or nothing like that. But a lot of these guys got gold medals. But August 13th, they're gonna have the quarterfinals for Grand Prix tournament they have with WBC and Riyadh season. I don't know if everybody caught up on these. They got 4 different divisions, I think. I know they got featherweight, heavyweight. I forgot the other one. It might be. Let me see. Look it up. See the other weight classes. They got featherweight, super lightweight, which is 140. Yeah, they got 126, 140, 160, and heavyweight. So those are the weight classes they have. And they got fighters from all kind of different countries, from all over the place. Yeah, it's a good tournament though, man. It's a lot of guys showing out right now. You got guys from South Africa, UK, Canada, Mexico. Yeah, you got to check it out, man. A lot of fights already happened. You can go on the Turkey Island Sheik page, or I forgot what other page is on, but they got the other fights on there, the other rounds, first round, second round. I'm telling y'all, if y'all haven't seen these fights, these are some good fights. These fights are. Some of these fights are a lot better than the ones that's coming on Saturdays. If you want to see some good fights, go look at these fights. I saw the first round. I forgot what weight class it was. It was either 126 or 140. But man, those guys was fighting. I think it was 126. Guys was fighting. And at 126, they was cracking. So I would definitely check that out. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for being on live, man. I'm gonna be back on here later on or tomorrow. Appreciate everybody for coming through, man.